afternoon and welcome to New Palestine High School for the 9-star Channel 9 Game of the Week. Today we've got a matchup between two of the top programs in Central and South Central Indiana, the New Palestine Dragons and the Bloomington North Cougars. Along with Jim Leisure, I am Andrew Smith. The Dragons come in with an 11-9 record, including a lot of close losses against some really tough teams, including a defeat last night against Fishers in 8 innings where New Palestine rallied in the bottom of the 7th to tie it up but fell eventually 5-3. Bloomington North comes in on a long winning streak. They're ranked number 5 in the Prep Baseball Report rankings. 15-2 are the Cougars, playing some really good baseball. And so pitching matchup today, Alex Kropp for New Palestine getting his first varsity start. And for Bloomington North, Sam Klein, who's 4-0 with a 1.33 earned run average. Jim Leisure, always good to be alongside you at a high school baseball diamond, but one thing we have is today a matchup between two teams that don't see each other very often. They don't play a lot of common opponents, and so it's really an opportunity to kind of test yourself against a good baseball team without really a whole lot when it comes to conference or anything else on the line.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Lyons before the game, and he had talked about how Bloomington's coach called Al Cooper, the athletic director at New Palestine, and last, I guess, winter, as it were, and tried to set up a couple of ball games. So they're going to play tonight here, and then I think next Tuesday the Dragons travel down there to reciprocate. So it should be a good series.
Harry Delianis is hit with a pitch on the second pitch of the game, and so he'll trot down to first base. Dylan Steele will step in. We see that pitch just got a little bit low and in on Delianis, and he is aboard.
Well, you mentioned this is Kropp's first varsity start, so may have a few butterflies there, some jitters, and hopefully he'll settle down here and find his rhythm.
Kropp is no stranger to varsity pressure. He is a 2-year starter at kicker on the New Palestine football team, won a state championship this past fall. And he works from the stretch against Dylan Steele. And the first pitch is taken high for a ball. Steele, third baseman today for the Cougars. And he is hitting .354. He's driven in 13. Throw over to first. Delianis with a healthy lead, but he scampers back. Steele will head just a couple of miles south to play his college baseball. He's committed to Indiana. And this pitch skied foul. Mack giving some chase, but watches it drop out of play. Count 1-1 on Dylan Steele. It's one of two future Hoosiers in this game. Jack Walker, who's actually batting also in the number 2 hole for New Palestine, also committed to play for IU.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, too, if Coach Hurt from Bloomington North decides to put something on here. Went through a long series of signals. There is a relatively young catcher behind the plate for the Dragons, not their normal senior Colby Jenkins. So we'll see if Coach Hurt puts him in motion here as he throws back over to get him back.
Delianis has had a pretty healthy lead. He is the table setter for Bloomington North, leads them with 16 runs. He was hit with a pitch and is aboard. We'll set the Cougars lineup momentarily. Lead a little shorter this time. The pitch is taken for a ball just outside. The count now 2-1 on Dylan Steele. Aaron Steinfeld, the first baseman in the on-deck circle, the number 3 hitter. Sam Klein, the pitcher, batting cleanup. Jack Shepard, the right fielder, batting 5th. Riley Gallagher, the shortstop, hitting 6th. Cameron Gray is the DH as the throw gets away. Delianis makes a big turn at second. He's going to head to third as Mack tracks the ball down. Delianis will get there standing up. So a 2-base error on an errant pickoff move, and Bloomington North is in business with a runner on third and nobody out.
Well, again, you got a guy that hasn't pitched a lot at the varsity level, kind of lets one get away, and really I think let Delianis get in his head a little bit as the throwing over 3 or 4 times there indicates. But I'd like to see maybe one of the seniors step up and say, hey, kid, it's all right, don't worry about it, let's get the hitter, that kind of thing. I hate to see the kid just kind of stand out there on the mound by himself.
Here's the 2-1. It's hit in the air to center. Eric Raudebush drifting back, and it is over his head and off the fence. Delianis will score. Steele pulls into second with a stand-up double, and that is a long double, about 400 feet. to dead center here, and Steele just missed a home run. Got a pitch to drive, and he gave it a ride.
Well, if you see here on the replay, Raudebush kind of lopes back slowly at first. I think he felt like he had a line on it, and then there is a little bit of a wind here today, and it's kind of blowing not necessarily out to center field, but I'm not sure it could have got that anyway, but he certainly, I think, misjudged it a little bit on his initial approach.
So Steele with the RBI. That is his 14th of the year. Plates the first run of the game. And the first pitch to Aaron Steinfeld is high and in for a ball, 1-0.
Crop is just missing. I mean, he's left a couple up. He's left one outside. He's not missing by much. So, again, it's just a matter of release point, maybe where your land foot is. Has to make a slight adjustment here.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss.
Looks like he went off speed there a little bit as Steinfeld was way out in front of that pitch. You can see the wind blowing the shirt of the batter there.
It is howling and blowing out as well. And so any ball hit to the outfield will carry, as we saw on Dylan Steele's blast to center. Pitch low and in. Count now 2-1 on Steinfeld. We were setting the lineup. Cameron Gray, the DH, bats 7th. Jack Gallagher will bat 8th, the catcher. Xavier Trueblood, the left fielder, batting 9th to round out the Bloomington North lineup. Crop working from the stretch, checks the runner at second. And here's the delivery. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. So 81 degrees at first pitch time. The wind coming out of the southeast. 14 miles an hour, so it's blowing out basically straight across the outfield toward the left field foul pole. Here's the 2-2. Off-speed pitch hit in the air to left, drifting back and making the catch a couple steps shy of the warning track is the left fielder, Zach Neely, and that's the first out of the game.
Well, same thing. Again, I think Neely, this ball, you'll see it here on the replay, gets hit. And he kind of lopes back a little bit. The outfielders need to communicate with one another and realize the ball's going to carry here a little bit, so you want to sprint back. You can always come back in. You know, if you go too deep, you can come back in a couple steps. Heck of a lot easier to come in than it is to go out.
Sam Klein, the Cougars pitcher, with a chance to help himself. A hit, an error, and a hit by pitch in the inning. Bloomington North with a run, 1 out. And he offers an off-speed pitch and misses, 0-1. Looks like that curveball is working pretty well for Alex Crop here early.
Yeah, it does. And again, if you're him, you want to stay with that pitch as long as you can. Eventually, they'll adjust. It's a pretty good baseball team at 15-2. They'll adjust. But until then, you want to keep throwing it.
Count 0-1 on Sam Klein. Here's the pitch. Grounded wide of third. This will go foul. And Klein's in the hole, 0-2. Klein on the year is hitting .362. He's driven in 11.
Look at freshman catcher Zayden still looking over to the Dragon dugout, looking for the pitch call. Coach Lyons, a great pitching coach when he was an assistant coach and pitched in college, so he's going to control most of the pitch selections here today.
Especially with a young pitcher. Crop's not young in age, but he is a junior, but he is a first-year varsity starter, and this delivery is also fouled off down the third base line, so we'll do it all over again. 0-2 the count. Zayden Stiller getting the start today. He started a couple of games for the Dragons this season, also has played a little bit on the junior varsity. He's a freshman. They've got some really high hopes for him. Colby Jenkins, the normal catcher, starting at third today. Pitch high and away for a ball.
Good spot, though. Good location. I mean, he's been ahead of your curveball 3 pitches in a row, so they tried to go and try to get him to fish for something high and out of the zone. Klein wouldn't have any of it.
Here's the 1-2. Hit in the air to left. Neely drifting over it. Will drop for a base hit. Steele had to hold at second to see if Neely would catch the baseball, so he will stop at third on the second hit of the inning for Bloomington North. Sam Klein single. And so the Cougars have runners on the corners with 1 out.
Yeah, ball's actually not hit very hard, just kind of a looper, and Neely not wanting to take any chances there, plays the safe one, and that's fine. Now sets up a first and third situation. I'm sure that, and you just saw Stiller setting his defense there, deciding on how they're going to handle a steal or a walk-off. And Coach Hurt gets to have a little fun. It's always fun to have first and third.
Ted Toohill is the courtesy runner at first base for the Cougars. As he'll run for Klein. You're allowed a courtesy runner for the pitcher and catcher anytime they are on. Shepard with a big open stance in the right-handed batter's box. And the first pitch is taken for a strike over the outside corner.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the courtesy runner thing. I really don't know that it saves all that much time. And, you know, if I'm sure you've listened to any of my broadcasts on 9-Star, you've heard me rail on and on. You probably don't want to continue to hear it. But I just think it can sometimes give teams an advantage, an unintended advantage. The rule was put in place to kind of speed things up. But sometimes, you know, if you have a bigger, slower kid who gets on and he happens to be the pitcher or the catcher, you can put in the little speedster and all of a sudden you've got a huge advantage.
You essentially have a full-time pinch runner for that guy.
Absolutely. And in the old days, you could sub for him once, and that was it. So you had to kind of game it a little bit more. You know, yeah, if you wanted to pick a spot in the ball game where you could take the slow kid down, put the fast kid in, that's great, but you could only do it once because the second time you took him out, he was done for the day. So now, like you said, essentially you could go out and get a track star, kid who doesn't know whether a baseball's wound with string or pumped with air, and just turn him loose.
Pitch taken high for a ball, 2-1 on Jack Shepard, the Cougars' right fielder. He is a junior. He's hitting .412. And Bloomington North has 3 players in the starting lineup hitting over 400, and a lot of them hit the lower half of the lineup, which shows you how deep Coach Richard Hurt's team is. Runner goes. The throw is going to be cut off by a crop, so they concede the stolen base to prevent the runner from coming home from third. And so now the Cougars have 2 in scoring position with 1 out.
Yeah, again, just a set play. That's one of those deals where defensively the catcher goes out, signals to everybody what's going on. Are we throwing through? Are we faking to second, trying to throw it behind the runner? Are we just going to eat it? We're going to throw it to the pitcher, cut it to shortstop, cutting it off. Just a design defensive play, a choice that the Dragons have made.
Jenkins playing a couple steps in with the bag, still in the dirt at third base, as you see in that shot. Everybody else playing at normal depth. New Palestine will trade a run for an out. The count 3-1 on Shepard. And that pitch is a good pitch over the inside corner. And that'll run it full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, not uncommon to have your third baseman even with the bag and everyone else. You just want to stay out of the big inning. I mean, if you give up a crooked number, you give up a 2 spot in the first, not a big deal. You certainly don't want to make it a 5 or a 6.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch. Grounded to Jenkins at third. He bobbles it and throws to first. The throw is late. And so the Cougars add another run as Jenkins charging that ball just didn't handle it cleanly. He looked like he wanted to throw home, and maybe he was throwing it before he had the baseball and then was a little tardy with the throw to first.
Yeah, I think he definitely had his eyes on the runner, and again, a lot of times you're in for a reason. You're playing in because if the ball's hit hard to you, you're probably going to go home. Everyone else is going to go 1. They're all playing back at normal depth, and I think if you watch the replay there, just as the ball reached his glove, he was kind of stealing a glance at the runner on third base, and I believe that's what cost him the opportunity there to field that cleanly.
Sean Lyons, the Dragons coach, coming out to have a meeting on the mound and chat with his pitcher as well as his infield, and maybe talk as much about defense as anything else. Play was ruled an error, so far Bloomington North 2 runs on 2 hits, a hit batter and an error. Still just 1 out in the inning for Riley Gallagher, the number 6 hitter in the Cougars lineup.
Well, you talked about the depth that the Cougars have. I talked to Coach Hurt before the ball game, and I coached against him when I was coaching at Chittard back in 1990. He was the head coach at North. He's been there a long time, but they've kind of been playing for this season. A lot of these kids have been playing since they were freshmen or sophomores. They're now juniors and seniors, and this is kind of what they've been aiming for the last couple, 2 or 3 years.
Looking to make a deep run in the tourney. First pitch taken for a strike. The throw through is late. And so stolen base by Jack Shepard. And the Cougars again have runners on second and third, just 1 out in the inning. So Riley Gallagher batting. Stiller's throw just a little bit tardy as Shepard got a good jump. Here's the 1-0. Taken outside, 2-0.
Yeah, and the throw was also just a little bit high. Obviously, you want to get that thing knee high or lower so that the fielder catching it can get it to the bag as quick as possible. And that throw was just about eyeball level, and just the extra time it took to get the tag down was just enough to get underneath.
Now Gallagher will step out of the box and then step back in. It's the Cougars shortstop. He's driven in 7 this year. This pitch is taken for a strike. A ball and 2 strikes now, the count on the Bloomington North shortstop. The inning started with Delianis being hit by a pitch. He went to third on an Aaron pickoff throw. Scored on Dylan Steele's double to the center field fence. This ball hit right back to the box. Crop spins, throws to first. That retires Gallagher. Klein scores on the play, or actually Klein's courtesy runner Toohill scores on the play. And so some good reflexes shown by Alex Kropp. And he immediately, I don't think he realized that there was not a runner on first as he looked for a double play, but it was not available.
Yeah, and again, had he looked at the runner at third, he had a shot of maybe getting that kid caught in a rundown. And the way you coach that is if you get the guy in the middle, just run right at him, force him to go one way or the other.
First pitch to Cameron Gray, the DH, taken high for a ball. He's hitting .500, just 4 for 8 on the year. This is his 8th game. 3 runs in the inning. This ball is hit in the air. And coming out and making the catch is Luke Green to retire the side for New Palestine. But 3 runs do score on a pair of hits. There were 2 errors, and the Cougars leave 1. And through half an inning, it's Bloomington North 3 and New Palestine nothing. And that was not an easy play by Luke Green, but he did a good job of tracking the ball and running it down in short center field.
Yeah, another one that's similar to the one that was hit to Neely in left field a couple batters previous, but the ball just was not hit hard, just kind of slapped, and Green was able to get back there. I thought maybe Raudebush might have a chance to come in and make the running grab, but the ball just simply wasn't hit hard enough.
So of those 3 runs, 2 were earned, as Delianis was hit by a pitch. Steele at a long double to the center field fence. After a fly out to left, Sam Klein with a base hit to left. Shepard reached on an error that brought home another run, and then Riley Gallagher with an RBI ground out as well to put the Cougars up 3-0 over New Palestine. The Dragons line up. Colby Jenkins, senior, will lead off. He's the third baseman. Jack Walker, the DH, batting second. Noah Mack, sophomore first baseman, hitting third. Eric Raudebush, the center fielder, batting fourth. Zach Neely, the left fielder, hitting fifth. Luke Green batting sixth. He was the man who made the play to end the previous half inning. Trevor Rush batting seventh. He's in right. Zayden Stiller, the catcher, hits eighth. Grant Hickman, the shortstop, in the number 9 spot this afternoon for New Palestine.
Pretty good hitting lineup for the Dragons as well, so we'll see whether they can counter back. And you don't have to get all 3 of them back. It's still the first inning, but it'd be nice to get 1 or 2 if you're Coach Lyons and his coaching staff.
And so we'll see Colby Jenkins lead things off. He's been the table setter for this team really for 4 years, a 4-year starter. And 4-year starter at catcher. Not seen that since Jake Lee and the New Palestine State Championship team in 2004. Jenkins hitting just a shade under 400 this year. He is one of the 2 Dragons homers. And he's also driven in 12. First pitch offered by Sam Klein is taken for a strike. Klein making his 6th start. He's 4-0 with a 1.33 earned run average. Jenkins fouls this one away, so he's in the hole 0-2. In 21 innings, he struck out 33. Klein also has a save in one of his 2 relief appearances.
Steps off there. I don't know if he got something, some dust in his eye or whatever. It seems to be kind of wiping it, but he works relatively quickly so far. He gets the ball, and he gets the signal, and he delivers a pitch.
This Bloomington North staff has got a lot of really good arms, and this one rolled out to short. Gallagher's up with it, throws across the diamond to retire Colby Jenkins. 6-3 on the putout, and there's 1 away for Jack Walker.
Just basic fundamental baseball here. You see Riley Gallagher just kind of set and wait, picks the ball up coming forward, a little more momentum toward first base, and fires a strike across the diamond.
Walker hitting .422. That leads the Dragons. He has 17 RBI. Of his 27 hits, more than half are for extra bases. He's got 10 doubles and 4 triples. First pitch to Walker, high and outside. You see a lot of triples in this park because it's a very deep park by high school standards. Walker takes this pitch outside. 325 down the lines, 365 to the alleys, and 400 to dead center. And so especially to deep center, if you can get one to center field or the right center field gap, you can run for a while. And a number of his triples have come here at home. There's the 2-1. Taken for a strike, 2-2.
Well, they say triples are made between home and first. If you get out of the box, like you're on fire, and then a lot of times you'll see guys jog to kind of first and then realize, hey, I got a chance. Well, it's too late.
Here's the 2-2 to Walker. Strike 3 called over the inside corner of the knees as Klein just buried a fastball, and they were very quickly 2 away.
Yeah, I thought that pitch was a better pitch than the other one. This pitch, I think the inside corner, that's a strike. You just saw it there in the replay. The one prior to that on the outside, I don't know if that pitch was a strike or not. But if you're Klein, that's certainly where you want to stay.
Noah Mack has been a really solid bat in the Dragons lineup. He's batting third today. Sophomore first baseman hitting .393. He's homered once and leads New Palestine with 19 runs batted in. And the count on him, 1-1. Thing to note with Bloomington North, their Conference Indiana, only a 6-team league, but they play a single round robin, so that allows you to use your number 1 and number 2 starters throughout the year. As Klein's ahead in the count, 1-2, whereas New Palestine, with HHC games being doubleheaders on Friday night, means you're starting your depth pitchers during the week in your non-conference games. This one fouled back to the screen and right next to our effects mic, and so it remains 1-2.
Yeah, I don't know which way's better. I do know that years ago when the Dragons had Andrew Clark, and then after that, Greenfield Central had the Gibson kid who's now pitching in the majors for the Twins. It seemed like it was a little unfair that if you did it right schedule-wise, the same number 1 could pitch every one of your conference games and you'd run the table. This way, I think it creates – you got to have depth now. You got to have guys who are going to get experience Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, whereas before maybe you didn't get quite as much of that player development that you get now by playing the doubleheaders on Friday.
Here's the 1-2. Curveball misses high to Noah Mack. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mack also a starter on the New Palestine football team as an offensive lineman. Worked his way into the lineup as a freshman. Here's the 2-2. It's fouled off down the first baseline, and we'll do it all over again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Noah Mack.
Actually, pretty good piece of hitting there. Mack realized that pitch was in the strike zone and was a little late on it, but was able to just throw his hands at it and get enough of the ball to foul it off as he strikes out there on a low pitch.
Unable to catch up to that fastball, and so Sam Klein strikes out 2. The Dragons go down in order in the first inning. Through 1. Bloomington North 3, New Palestine nothing. You're watching high school baseball on 9 Star Channel 9.
A working mom who brings her best to both roles. A community-owned telecom that connects her home with high-bandwidth fiber optic. Mom can work from home with fast, reliable connectivity and be there when the kids come home. When everyone logs on, the internet connections stay fast and the family stays connected. 9 Star Connect. Community-owned. Community strong.
And we welcome you back to New Palestine High School. The Dragons trailing the Bloomington North Cougars 3-0 after an inning as Bloomington North sent 7 batters to the plate in the first. Scored 3 runs on 2 hits and a pair of errors. New Palestine went down in order in the opening inning. Take a look at the HHC standings. You see New Palestine third, 2 games back of Pendleton Heights with 4 games to play. Greenfield Central in second place at 7-3. And a big bunch up there is a lot of parity in the Hoosier Heritage Conference this season. New Palestine and Pendleton Heights will play each other Friday night. And so the Dragons seeking a sweep on Friday, and that would put them right back in contention and certainly with 2 games to play in the conference.
Well, obviously Pendleton Heights is very good. A couple really good pitchers actually, but talked to Coach Lyons before the game. He feels like they can, on any given night, they can beat anybody, and then on any given night they can get beat by anybody. So should be 2 excellent ball games Friday night.
Yeah, you saw Pendleton last week when they played Greenfield Central in a 1-0 masterpiece thrown by GC starter Adam Hutchison to beat the Arabians. Here's a pop-up by Jack Gallagher. Alex Kropp settles under it and makes the catch for the first out. And so very quickly, Kropp is able to get the first out in the second inning, and that'll bring Xavier Trueblood, the left fielder, for Bloomington North to the plate.
Yeah, I thought for a second that Stiller was going to come out and you know, everyone was going to stand around. Jenkins and Kropp were going to let him battle that thing. It's like you really don't want your catcher catching anything if you can avoid it.
Especially a ball going away from
Yeah,
the catcher when
yeah.
it's coming at your pitcher, as Kropp misses high for a ball. Xavier Trueblood batting 9th. He's hitting .429 on the season, leading the Cougars in batting average. And so that American League style lineup where you put almost a second leadoff hitter in that number 9 spot.
Seen coaches do it for years.
It's the 1-1, taken high for a ball, 2-1.
Yeah, you start off with your normal 1 through 5. Basically, I've seen even people put a kind of a leadoff guy in the 6 hole.
This pitch taken for a strike over the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Xavier Trueblood. We're in the second. Bloomington North scored 3 in the first, 2 of which were earned. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's Kropp's first varsity strikeout, and that also records the second out of the inning, and that'll bring Harry Delianis to the plate.
Well, 3 straight pitches right in the same spot, all of them on the outside corner, and it's good to see that the freshman Stiller and, like you said, the relatively inexperienced Kropp were able to kind of communicate that and figure that out. That's a free out there if you can keep throwing it there.
Kropp gets a little bit on top of that one. That kind of slipped out of his hands. And so ball 1 to Harry Delianis. He was hit with the second pitch of the game and scored in the first inning. And here's the 1-0 to him. Taken inside for a ball. 2-0. Delianis also one of the top pitchers on this team. And really their relief ace with 3 saves. He's headed to Pomona Pitzer College next year. Takes a strike here. 2-1 the count on him.
Yeah, the one thing about Bloomington South being so far away and not really on the schedule year to year, you don't have a huge scouting report on these guys.
This pitch taken outside, 3-1.
Although it does appear as if both Coach Lyons and Alex Kropp on the mound are showing a lot of respect for Delianis because they're really not giving him anything to hit.
Dylan Steele in the on-deck circle. Had a 397-foot double last time up. Here's the 3-1. Popped up on the infield. Jenkins ranging back. He's called off by the shortstop, and Grant Hickman squeezes it for the third out of the inning. So the Cougars go 3 up, 3 down, nothing across in the top of the second. We remain 3-0. And the meat of the Dragon order coming up, and Eric Raudebush, Zach Neely, and Luke Green, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. As you see Harry Delianis heading out to his defensive position at second base.
Well, it was good to see Alex Kropp work his way through that inning. Seemed to settle down a little bit, a little better location. Did on the one curveball kind of got away from him a little bit, but that happens at times. And obviously a much better second inning than first inning.
Dragons were set down in order in the first by Sam Klein, who has 33 strikeouts in 21 innings, now 35 in 22. Bloomington North beat Conference Indiana foe Southport last night to move to 15-2 on the year. We mentioned earlier, number 5 in the Prep Baseball Report rankings. They're receiving votes in the IHSBCA top 10. New Palestine started the year receiving votes in the Class 4A poll. And as Jim mentioned, they've had some impressive wins this year and some difficult losses as well. Eric Raudebush to step in. It's junior playing center field, and he gets screwed into the ground on that pitch. He tried to check his swing, but just lost his momentum, and that carried the bat through the strike zone.
Yeah, it just gets tied up just ever a little bit. And, you know, when I coached, I used to tell him good swing or no swing.
This one fouled back to the screen 0-2. The one thing I like about Klein, Jim, is he's working ahead in the count, challenging hitters early and trying to get him to catch up to his fastball, which is difficult to do.
He's pretty good one, but, you know, the Dragons have seen some pretty good pitchers so far this spring already. So
there's the 0-2, fouled back to the screen. So we'll do it all over again.
Well, the baseball rule says you got to change him up. And when somebody fouls one straight back, the next pitch, you got to change speeds. He's obviously timed your fastball, so you got to come with something else here. Let's see what he does.
Here's the 0-2. Off-speed pitch taken over the inside corner, strike three. Third straight strikeout. Raudebusch, not sure if he realized that was the third strike. He stayed in the box for a couple of seconds as the Cougars tossed the ball around. And again, he's buried that pitch over the inside corner a couple of times to get a called third strike.
Yeah, I'm not sure Eric knew the first pitch was called a strike.
Zach Neely takes this pitch, curveball over for a strike over the inside corner. 0-1 the count on the Dragons left fielder. He has a very interesting split, the old Ricky Henderson split. He throws left-handed but bats right-handed. Don't often see that.
Yeah, the other thing that I like to see here too with Klein is that he's started Jenkins off with Neely, with a curveball.
And Neely bounces this one up the middle, fielded by Delianis, but he has no play. And so Zach Neely is the Dragons' first base runner of the game. He's aboard with a base hit. Bouncer right up the middle, and nice play by Delianis to field that down.
Yeah, but, you know, hitters will communicate with one another. They're going to come back and say, hey, what did he start you with and where? You know, pitch and location. So far, Klein's done a pretty good job of mixing that up.
Luke Green stepping in. Takes pitch for a ball. Green working his way into the lineup. So he missed a few games early in the year and seeing some more at-bats as the year has gone on. He's been a solid bat for the Dragons during his time. Throw gets away. Neely takes a couple of steps, but he will stay at first base. As a good job by the first baseman Steinfeld to get over there and hop on that loose ball and prevent Neely from advancing.
Well, and again, just a good choice by Alex Neely at first. You know, if you're going to hesitate, go back. Don't, you know, either go or get back, but you can't do both. And he started to hesitate a little bit, and that's just an automatic turn around, get back, play it safe.
So Luke Green, second baseman now. Our home plate umpire is called time and writing something down. I'm quite sure what.
I can't, for the life of me, think of anything game-wise.
Yeah. So something he records. Now he's back. Neely takes the lead from first. 1-0 the count on Luke Green. And he fouls this one right back to the screen. 1-1 the count on the Dragons senior second baseman.
I know sometimes, you know, for my comedy act, when I think of something funny, I write it down so I'll remember it in 3 days. Maybe that guy just thought of something really funny, and he works at a comedy show later on.
There we go. So 1-1 the count. Here is the pitch, and fastball just blows it right by Green. 1-2.
Well, this is where you'd like to see Green just kind of choke up a little bit and widen out and just try to put something in play. I know that's no longer the way they do it in the big leagues, but this isn't necessarily the big leagues either.
Slightly open stance for Green. 1-2 the count on him. And he fouls this one off down the right field line. It'll drop well out of play.
Just be a tough out. You know, I mean, if you're going to make outs, at least make them work for it in battle and you know, force the pitcher to get you out on his good stuff. And just that's what I think that two-strike hitting approach does.
Neely, the runner at first. 1-2 the count on Luke Green. Pitch out, and it gets away from the catcher. That'll be a stolen base as Neely was going with the pitch. They tried a pitch out, and they had it timed because Neely was going, but the catcher just didn't handle it.
Yeah, this would have been interesting to see. It's too bad that and again, I think he just took his eyes off it. You watch the replay there. He was looking at second base as he's reaching for the baseball. Kind of a bad combination. That would have been fun to see, just to see who could have won that foot race.
Count 2-2 on Green. He fouls this one back to the backstop.
Again, just being a pest, be a tough out. Pretty good at bat for Luke Green.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the inning. Neely is at second base. And here's the pitch. Foul back again. And actually, he called that a foul ball. Neely went to third base. And the thing is, had that ball not been fouled off, it would have been a strikeout.
Yeah.
So, and Green did not run. So,
and he would know. You know, he's the guy with the bat in his hand, so he probably knows that he got just a piece of it. But right now, this has been like about a 7 or 8 pitch at bat.
Here's the 2-2. Taken low for a ball, 3-2. Luke Green doing a good job of working the at-bat here, and he's been able to get the count to full.
I think I have this. This would be the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
3-2 the count. And this pitch taken low and away for a ball. Green, after falling down 1-2, fouling off several 2-strike pitches, trots down to first base with a walk, and now Trevor Rush to bat with 2 on and 1 out. And the Dragons have something stirring here in the bottom of the first, or in the bottom of the second, excuse me.
And that at bat is so important for a lot of reasons. One, you basically ran him to 10 pitches, and in today's world where it's all pitch count, I mean, that's 10 pitches that, I mean, he's closer to the 120 limit. Where he has to come out of the ball game just in one hitter. He took about a 10th of it.
First pitch to Rush, low and away. 1-0 the count on him. Trevor Rush playing his 11th varsity game this season. He's hitting .344, 11-32. He scored 9 times and driven in 5.
But more importantly, though, it just gets in Klein's head a little bit. It just, I mean, believe me, he's frustrated with that at bat.
Swing and a miss here as Rush a little tardy on a fastball. 1-1.
Because that's the one thing about baseball is that the only real one-on-one competition is between the pitcher and the hitter, and he wanted to win that battle, and obviously Green wanted to win it, and Green ultimately won it.
It's the 1-1 to Trevor Rush. Junior fouls this one off his foot. We'll go pick up the baseball and flip it back to the pitcher, Sam Klein, and head back to the batter's box. One thing, too, pitchers sometimes look a little differently when they work from the stretch versus the windup. Some are more comfortable.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. But again, this is where I'd like to see Trevor just kind of choke up, widen his stance a little bit, and just throw his hands at something.
The count 1-2 on Rush. Is taken high and wide. Snap throw to first, and Green's able to dive back in. It looked like the throw might have beat him, but the first baseman, Steinfeld, was unable to corral the baseball.
That's what I think it was. I think if he comes up with the ball in his glove, the umpire in the middle of the diamond because of the 2-man rule, although I'm not sure he tagged him. It looked like he was right in front of it, but becomes moot.
This ball bunted, picked up by the pitcher. The throw over to first retires Rush. They're now 2 away. 1-3 on the sacrifice. Both runners move up 90 feet. Now Zayden Stiller, the freshman, with an opportunity here to close this Bloomington North lead.
Well, I'm not terribly surprised there. You know, one of the things with Coach Lyons, I believe you said they've only got 2 home runs on this season. Is that correct?
That's
I mean,
correct.
If you're not going to hit it out, you're going to have to move them along somehow, some way, and he knows his players better than anybody.
Stiller takes first pitch high for a ball. Check to swing. On the first pitch of his first varsity at-bat a week and a half ago against Knightstown, he roped a pitch into left field for a base hit. This pitch taken inside for a ball. He started a game a couple days later against Greenfield Central. He's a freshman catcher. They're very high on him. This is his 5th game, 2nd start. 2-0 the count. This one's hit in the air down the right field line, and it will fall just foul. So Stiller put that one almost in that Bermuda triangle between first, second, and right, but the ball landed about 3 or 4 feet foul. So,
yeah, there's no way anyone was going to get to it if it stays fair. The right fielder is actually playing him toward the line a little bit and shallow, which is normal on an opposite field hitter for you, but especially a freshman kid, you got to assume he's probably not got as much power as the typical senior.
this ball laced foul down the first base line. 2-2 now the count. 2 runners on second and third. Neely via single, Green via walk. They both moved up 90 feet on Trevor Rush's sacrifice bunt.
We'll see what Klein does here. So far, Stiller's been behind both pitches, and I would just come with fastball and just end this thing.
2-2, misses low and away, and now the count is full.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do when a guy is behind your pitch, and I've seen kids do it, they'll throw that curveball or that change. They'll basically slow it down enough that I can actually hit it.
3-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and Klein is able to, with his 4th strikeout of the game, get out of a 2-on, 2-out jam. The Dragons do not score. They leave a pair. We've played 2. Bloomington North 3, New Palestine nothing. You're watching 9-Star Channel 9.
Think David can defeat Goliath. Think again. This Goliath isn't just bigger or faster. She wants it more. So let the Davids take aim. Because once they come face to face with this Goliath, they'll quickly realize they never had a chance.
We return to New Palestine High School, top of the 3rd inning between New Palestine and Bloomington North. The host Dragons trailing 3-0 as Bloomington North scored 3 in the top of the 1st. New Palestine with a good scoring opportunity in the bottom of the 2nd, 2-on, 2-out, both in scoring position, but the Bloomington North starter Sam Klein with his 4th strikeout of the day ends the threat. Dylan Steele will lead things off. See Cameron Gray with a bat on his shoulder for Bloomington North, and Steele will make his way toward the batter's box. 3-0 your score. We're through 2 as Alex Kropp goes through his final warm-up tosses. Steele roped a double off the center field fence.
Talked about yet, Andrews, the weather. It's been absolutely beautiful today. I think the high is supposed to be in the low 80s, which just as fate would have it, the games that I've called so far this spring have all been relatively cold and rainy, and we were lucky to get them in.
That's been pretty much every baseball game this spring, it seems. The last couple of days, the weather has turned in a much more positive direction.
Yeah, let's see if we can't sustain this positivity.
For a while, we thought we might see animals walking in pairs down the street. There was so much rain. Count 1-1 on Dylan Steele.
That's a nice pitch there, by Kropp. Give him something to look at here. Show him a little bit more what's in your arsenal.
The 1-1. Taken for a strike. 1-2. Steele, a senior, hitting .354, 1 for 1 today. He's headed across town to IU next year. Here's the 1-2. Misses high and away for a ball, 2-2.
But a good waste pitch. I mean, he just came in with 2 curveballs. So, I mean, if you're Steele, he's probably thinking, okay, he's going to throw that curveball, I'm going to bust it. He went fastball high and out. There's
the curveball. It's hit in the air. Raudebush camping under it, and Eric Raudebush squeezes it for the first out of the inning. 6 straight retired by Kropp, and this will bring Aaron Steinfeld to the plate. He flied out to left his first time up.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt now that Alex Kropp is starting to settle down a little bit and get into a little bit of a rhythm. Second time through the order, so he's seen them as much as they've seen him. I don't know that there's ever an advantage, frankly.
First pitch taken over the inside corner for a strike by Steinfeld. There's some activity in the Bloomington North bullpen. This pitch skied foul over toward that Bloomington North bullpen. It'll drop out of play.
You always hear people talk about, coaches and broadcasters talking about the advantage of a hitter seeing a pitcher the second time, the third time. Well, the pitcher gets to see the hitter too, and the catcher, they get to set up hitters as well.
Pitch taken outside for a ball, 1-2. Steinfeld is the one sophomore in the Bloomington North lineup. He leads them with 16 RBI, hitting out of the 3-hole.
Good battery, a good pitcher-catcher combination. They know what they threw this kid last time. They know exactly where he hit it. They knew the location, the pitch, and so, the gamesmanship kind of goes both ways. You only hear about the offensive advantage, but there's a defensive advantage as well.
This ball laced into left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Steinfeld has Bloomington North's third hit of the game. And so there's one aboard for Sam Klein, the pitcher, with an opportunity to help himself, hitting out of the cleanup spot.
Just a really good piece of hitting there by Steinfeld. Just got the pitch and drove it, and really nothing you can do about it.
You talk about the pitcher and the catcher working together, and this is a young battery for New Palestine. The junior Crop making his first varsity start, and the freshman Stiller behind the plate. So it's a good opportunity for them to kind of learn how to do that. Set up guys and work their way through the order. This pitch taken inside for a ball by Klein.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, you got to assume at least that Stiller would probably going to catch a lot of innings next year, and hopefully Crop will pitch a bunch. So this is a good opportunity to work together.
This ball roped into left field. Neely comes over. He'll play it off of a hop. Steinfeld stops at second base. Klein at first with a single. Back-to-back hits for Bloomington North with one out here in the third inning. And again, we'll see the pinch runner Ted Toohill, the courtesy runner Toohill replacing Klein.
Yeah, you always hear about, from an outfield perspective, the hardest ball to judge is the one the line drive kind of hit right at you. You don't know whether you should come in and try to catch it on the run, maybe catch it off the top of your shoes, or stay back and just catch it off one bounce and play it conservatively. And obviously, Zach decided to take the conservative route there. I'm not sure he made a mistake. I think it was a good way to play it.
One out. Shepard with a big open stance and takes the first pitch low and in for a ball. We look at Crop on the mound. New Palestine's top four pitchers are primarily seniors. Your Friday night starters and Zach Neely and Jack Walker, both seniors. The Jaquez brothers as well often pitch during the week. They pitched 3 innings each last night, and often to the relievers on Fridays. Crop falls behind in the count 2-0. So really it comes down to guys like Vince Dant and Grant Hickman and Alex Crop. You're looking for those to be your Friday night pitchers, if you will, next year. And so it's a good opportunity here for a junior to get a spot against a really quality team.
Yeah, not a bad group to draw to, really. I mean, you got good pitchers there. It's just the nature of the high school game where, the seniors are probably going to dominate. And that is the case again this year with NewPal, but it seems like they just reload. I mean, you talked about Jake Lee a couple years back and Colby Jenkins for 4 years.
This pitch taken for a strike, 2-2.
And one can only assume Zayden Stiller for 3.5. So a lot of depth in this program, always has been from the days of Marvin Shepler through Al Cooper through now Sean Lyons. Just really great coaches. I know Tim Zellers and Landon McBride have been over there with Coach Lyons for a long time.
This pitch skied in the air. Raudebush charging in, makes the catch in center. Both runners hold. 2 outs in the inning, both on flyouts to Eric Raudebush. 16 sectional championships for this New Palestine baseball team under the tutelage of Marvin Shepler, and then Al Cooper was his assistant, took over, won a state championship in 2004. And then Sean Lyons took over, who had been Coach Cooper's longtime assistant and pitching coach, and has won 3 sectional championships, including 2 regional titles in his first 3 years at New Palestine. Also 3 conference championships. Crop throws over to first, and a balk is called. He faked the throw, and there was nobody over there covering, so he had to eat the ball. And so our home plate umpire issues a balk, and the 2 runners move up 90 feet to second and third. For Riley Gallagher, he had an RBI ground out in the first. Gallagher on the year, he's a senior hitting .282 and offers and misses at this pitch. 0-1 the count on him.
Well, obviously an unfortunate situation with the balk, getting 2 runners to move up a base, but if anything, it allows Crop to go from the windup, which a lot of pitchers, as you said earlier, would prefer to do.
There's the 0-1. Curveball hit in the air to left. Neely going back, looking up. It's over his head. This will plate a pair of runs as Riley Gallagher pulls into second base with a double. The throw a little bit errant, but Luke Green tracks it down. Gallagher with his 3rd RBI of the day, a 2-run double to deep left, and the ball continues to carry, but Gallagher like he waited on a curveball and gave it a ride.
Well, he sure did. And again, at this point, you're not going to keep either runner off the plate because obviously they're moving on contact. But you see pretty good defense here by the Dragons. They set up the double cut. The ball's errant throw. That's why you do a double cut. And you'll see here at the very end where the first baseman, well, maybe you can't quite see it, trails the runner into second base. So at least we defensively set it up right.
Cameron Gray right back to the box. It knocks off Kropp's glove, but he picks it up and throws to first to retire the side. Really solid play by Alex Kropp on a hot smash right back to him that knocked his glove off, but good stick-to-itiveness there for the Dragon pitcher.
Yeah, no, absolutely no panic at all. He just walks over, picks up the baseball, and I thought he might underhand it over, but soft little overhand toss to end the inning. And, boy, just for one pitch, really, you balk the two guys to second and third, and then one pitch bounces off the left center field wall, and you give up a couple.
Cougars get 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave 1. And so we head to the bottom of the third, 5-0 Bloomington North. New Palestine will host its sectional. They'll face Lawrence Central in the first game. This is an absolutely loaded sectional. LN, Warren Central, Cathedral, the defending state runner-up, and Tech will play that first Wednesday, the 22nd. Then LC New Palestine in the late game on Thursday, the 23rd. The championship game at noon on Memorial Day. And always good teams, and you often see really good pitchers in that sectional. Lawrence Central, Cathedral, and New Palestine all have state championships in their histories, and so you're going to see some really good baseball here at New Palestine that last week of May.
Yeah, and it'll be decision time for some of the coaches, just based off the draw. I know the head coach at Tech is a friend of mine named Bob Haney, and Bob is in his second year at Indianapolis Tech, and he's got them better. They are competing. But, again, if you draw them, if you're Cathedral, you probably aren't going to start your number 1 guy and probably not even your number 2. You can probably get by with your third best guy and then have your number 1 and 2 available for the next 2 ball games. So just Indiana high school baseball, just like Indiana high school basketball, the luck of the draw. It is what it is, and should be a great sectional tournament just like it was last year.
Yeah, it came down to the 7th inning of the sectional championship game as Grant Hickman takes the ball to lead off the bottom of the third. He's a junior. Hitting .205 of the year, driven in 9. Cathedral had to come back against Warren Central in the opening round from a multi-run deficit late. New Palestine, same thing against Lawrence North in a great pitcher's duel. And then in the sectional championship game, it was the Dragons and Cathedrals. Hickman gets hit in the back with a pitch. He's aboard. So the Dragons with the leadoff man on. And then that was a back-and-forth game. New Palestine had a 1-run lead going into the 7th. Cathedral's top player hit a home run to tie it, and then eventually, after the pitch count, forced Sean Lyons to make a pitching change. The Irish were able to eke out a 1-run win, and then they were really untouched until the state finals. And here's the first pitch taken for a strike. Colby Jenkins, second time through the order. He grounded out to short, his first time up. Pitch taken high and outside for a ball. Jenkins will play baseball at Indiana Wesleyan next year. Leads the Dragons with 20 runs. Also a 4-year starter on the Dragon football team. Played in 2 state championship games during his career, winning 1. It's a pretty solid high school career. 4-year starter at catcher, 4-year starter at wide receiver, and play a lot of meaningful tournament games. Good quick pickoff throw there by Sam Klein, but Hickman's able to dive back in.
Yeah, Jenkins certainly one of those kids that you always say, I'd much rather have his future than my past. He could probably play just, either sport if he wanted to at the next level.
And chose to play baseball, where he has really been a key part of this New Palestine team. Another quick pickoff throw, but again, Hickman dives back in.
Yeah, I think size-wise, that's probably the best decision for him. He could play some college football. It's just he'd have to get in the right situation at the right level.
This pitch taken high and outside, and Jenkins works a walk, and now the Dragons have 2 aboard with nobody out. And Jack Walker, their top hitter, coming up.
Well, New Palestine started to reach Klein a little bit the last inning and got a couple guys on and put some pressure on him. And obviously Richard Hurt, the Bloomington North coach, wants to come out and talk about it, make sure that everybody knows what they're doing. Remind his infielders, just go where the ball takes you. It looks like
He's going to make a pitching change.
How about that? That's probably more schedule related than anything. I don't think that Klein was in any real trouble, but they probably got some games coming up, and he wants to make sure that he has as many innings available as possible.
Colton Bex will come in. So Bex is a senior, and he has not pitched in a varsity game this season. So Klein goes 2+. He allowed 1 hit. He's responsible for both runners on the base path, struck out 4. And he walked a pair and hit 1. So the Dragons with 4 base runners among the 10 he faced. And yeah, it looked like Klein was on a strict pitch count limit, as he had been cruising, allowed only an infield hit and a walk on a great at-bat by Luke Green until this inning, but Bex was up throwing in the bullpen in the last half inning, and so...
Well, the Dragons have had somebody up now for the most part this entire inning. It looks like it's, when I'm old, I can't see that far. I couldn't see that far when I was young. 27 is what it looks like.
And it's Reese Quillen, I believe, who would be making his varsity debut. If he were to come in, he appears to be done.
47, I guess. And see, I told you I couldn't see.
It's a long way down there to those bullpens in the corners.
It's a long way from me to you. I got to be honest with you. I don't even see you very clearly.
Here at New Palestine, the ballpark has ample foul territory. As we mentioned earlier, the fence is major league dimensions, about 15 to 20 feet in the alleys and especially to dead center, deeper than most high school ballparks. It's 325 down the lines, but it deepens up, especially towards center field, 365 at the alleys and 400 at dead center. Your typical high school bark, about 375 straight away down the middle. It's Jack Walker to step in, facing the new pitcher, Colton Bex. And the first pitch from Bex taken low and away for a ball, and that was a straight sub as Klein came out, so Bex also would move into the number 4 spot in the order. Looks like Tyler Gary now headed down to the bullpen for Bloomington North. This pitch taken high and outside, 2-0 to Walker. Walker on the year, he's a left-handed hitter, hitting .422 coming into the day, 14 extra base hits. And he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Swings and misses here. That was a healthy cut by Walker, but he was unable to make contacts. The count now 2-1.
Well, obviously, Walker's trying to make something happen there, and that's fine. I used to tell kids the first 2 cuts are yours, the third one's mine. That's when I want you to shorten it up a little bit, swing my way. I have no problem with him taking a shot at it, though.
Fouls this one back to the screen, 2-2. Hickman was hit by a pitch. Jenkins walked. Both have pretty good speed on the base paths. New Palestine trailing 5-0. Cougars with 3 in the first and 2 here in the top of the third. Bex checks the runners and delivers. This one low and in, and tried to bury that pitch where Klein had done so earlier, but just missed. So the count now full. See what Sean Lyons does with the runners. Here's the payoff pitch. Grounded to first. This will move him over. It's bobbled by Steinfeld. Walker beats it out. The bases are loaded with nobody out. New Palestine with a golden opportunity to get right back in this one.
A really good hustle by Jack Walker here. This ball was hit right at the first baseman. A lot of times you'll see even big league players will be like, okay, whatever, and they'll start jogging. Jack Walker was out of the box like he was on fire from the get-go, and that's the reason he beat that out.
And so Walker's aboard Noah Mack. A lot of pop in his bat, and the wind howling out to left. Steps in. Mack, one of a pair of sophomores who plays a lot for this New Palestine team. Swings and misses at this pitch.
Well, this is where a hitter needs to try to contain himself just a little bit. I get the situation. I understand the score and the situation. But really all you want to do is hit the baseball hard somewhere. If it goes, it goes. But what you're really looking for is good hard contact.
Gets an off-speed pitch, laces it to third. Well played. 5-2 to 3 double play. And They're now 2 away. A very good play by the third baseman, Steele, and that turned the double play as he goes home.
Well, sometimes, you know, that old saying, if it weren't for bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. And he hit the ball hard, but just right at a guy who was pulled in and really had no chance. It didn't matter how fast he was getting out of the box. That wasn't going to matter.
So it's up to Eric Raudebusch. New Palestine with the bases loaded and nobody out now. It's runners on second and third and 2 out as Walker and Jenkins both moved up 90 feet. New Palestine trailing 5-0. The Dragons have had a couple of chances. They left a pair in scoring position last inning, and now bases loaded, nobody out, but have yet to push across a run.
Well, and I believe I spoke to their pitching coach who was just out there before the game. His name is Jim Rigman, I believe is what he said. And I'm sure coaches that's out there reminding the catcher, block everything. We don't want to give up a run on a pass ball. Just like that.
Pitch to Raudebusch taken in the dirt.
Yeah, and again, it's okay to throw those pitches, but just know the catcher's going to have to leave his feet, use good body, upper body angle to trap the ball in front of him. Don't give up a cheap one.
Raudebusch likely the quarterback for the Dragon football team next year. Ahead in the count 1-0. This one gets away from the catcher. Here comes Jenkins. He will score. Walker moves up to third, and the Dragons are on the board. They still trail 5-1, but they push one across on the wild pitch.
Well, again, they're obviously going to throw curveballs and try to get Eric Raudebusch to fish at something. But, again, if you're going to throw that stuff, you got to have a little better control, a little more command, because the catcher obviously was in a bad spot there. I don't think he could have done much with that.
Here's the 2-0. Raudebusch taps it toward the right side, and it will go foul. It's count now 2-1. The Dragons with a run without the benefit of a hit this inning. Started with hit batter to Hickman. Colby Jenkins walked. Jack Walker reached on an error to load the bases. Noah Mack grounded into a 5-2-3 double play. And then the wild pitch brings Jenkins home. Walker is at third. 2 away. Bottom of the third, 5-1 Bloomington North. Beck's pitches. Tapped to the right side, and it takes a right turn and goes foul. Steinfeld, the first baseman, was trying to field it, but that ball looked like it hit the lip and just went straight foul.
Yeah, definitely had some major league spin on it, and then, like you said, once it hits the lip of the infield, it kind of cue balls, like you said, just a hard left, and clearly a foul ball there, way, way, way off the bag. Not even a tough call from the umpire.
2-2 the count now on Raudebusch. And this one way outside as Beck's tried to fire a fastball past him, but missed, and so the count now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he comes with a fastball here. If he does, I think Raudebusch will crush it. If I were him, I'd try something again off speed or something a little break to it.
Here's the payoff pitch. Hit in the air to right center. Drifting over is the center fielder, Friel, and he'll squeeze it for the third out. The Dragons get a run without a hit, and they leave 1. We have played 3 at New Palestine. Bloomington North 5, New Palestine 1. You're watching high school baseball on 9 Star Channel 9.
The ocean sustains all life on this planet. If we can inspire people to care about the ocean, we can help protect the species that live there.
Sweet boy. You're my favorite.
What are you thinking?
Good.
You would never give up on true love, never.
Slimy is the new fuzzy.
We return to New Palestine High School for the 4th inning. Alex Kropp on the mound for his 4th inning of work. Bloomington North leading New Palestine 5-1 as the Cougars scored a pair in the top of the inning on Riley Gallagher's 2-out double. New Palestine responded by loading the bases with nobody out, getting a run on a 2-out wild pitch. Our next broadcast, Newcastle Pendleton Heights next Wednesday in a HHC softball matchup. Pendleton Heights has had a really solid season and looks like a contender in Class 4A. They've been as high as 4th in the poll. Jack Gallagher to lead things off for Bloomington North. He'll be followed by Xavier Trueblood and Harry Delianis. Leading off the 4th inning for Bloomington North, catcher number 11, Jack Gallagher. Gallagher popped out to the pitcher his first time up. Gallagher, a senior. And first pitch is an off-speed pitch, and he swings right through it. 0-1 the count on him. Xavier Trueblood, the left fielder, on deck. And he checks the swing here and holds back, 1-1.
You know, overall, I think, you know, other than just a couple pitches here and there, I would imagine Coach Lyons has got to be fairly pleased with what he's seen so far out of Crop.
This pitch deposited into left field for a base hit. The 6th hit of the day for Bloomington North. It's Jack Gallagher's first, and so the leadoff man is on for Xavier Trueblood, the left fielder. Left fielder.
Looks like Coach Hurt for Bloomington North's going to sub.
Yeah, it looks like Ben Hobson is getting his gear, so he will pinch hit for Trueblood, who struck out his first time up. And that appears to be the case. Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Bloomington North, number 35, Ben Hobson.
Well, not terribly uncommon to, you know, pinch hit for the 9-hole. We'll see whether or not Coach Hurt re-enters Trueblood in the field and left field. But, well, I tell you, you look at Hobson, big, strong kid. I think I'd have pinch hit him too. He's a monster.
Hobson is a senior. So Jack Gallagher aboard at first with a base hit. Bloomington North with 6 hits, 5 runs in the game. And throw over to first, and Mack able to corral it as it bounced over to him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Mack got leather on that ball or if it hit the runner, but either way, the Dragons got a little lucky there. That thing didn't get away, and like it did earlier in the ball game, and cost them a couple bases.
Gallagher with a healthy lead at first. Crop working from the stretch. Hobson butts right back to the mound. Crop's going to throw to second. The throw is wild. And so everybody is safe as Ben Hobson reaches on the error in the fielder's choice. A sacrifice E1 will be the play, as Crop thought he had a play at second, and he did, but the throw was wild and missed the bag.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, right play, just bad execution. And the catcher has that play from the very beginning. He's the one that can see the runner to see whether or not they have a play. I'm sure he's yelling 2-2-2 the whole time. And, Alex just set his feet and unfortunately just let one sail a little bit. And luckily the backup was there to keep that thing from going in the left or right center field.
Xavier Trueblood re-enters and is now running at first base. So it looks like Hobson came in specifically to bunt. Now Delianis is going to bunt, pushes it down the third base line. And Zayden Stiller races over to make sure it stays foul.
Yeah, a little bit of gamesmanship, though. I mean, when I saw Hobson come up, a big, strong kid, I mean, the last thing I'm thinking is he's going to come in there to bunt. But he did, and honestly, it wasn't a very good bunt. Probably should have resulted in at least an out at second base, depending on how quickly he gets down the line, maybe 2.
Cougars with 2 on, nobody out here in the top of the 4th with a 4-run lead. Delianis offers it this one and bunts it foul. So he's in the hole 0-2. That likely takes the bunt off. Cougars scored 3 in the first on a pair of hits, 2 in the third off 3 hits, including a 2-run, 2-out double by Riley Gallagher to open up this 5-1 lead. New Palestine answered with a run in the bottom of the third. Here's the 0-2. Laced into right field. This will be a base hit. Gallagher is being waved around third. Here comes the throw. It is cut off by Mack. He'll throw to second. It is late. And so Delianis with an RBI single makes it 6-1. Trueblood goes to third and Delianis to second.
Well hit ball that gets through the infield and into the grass a little bit where it does slow down a little bit. The Dragons set it up defensively really well. Really good cut by Mack. Just everything was just that throw was low and everything was just a little bit slow, and it does appear as if he got under the tag, and it looks like Coach Lyons has seen enough.
And so Reese Quillen will come in to replace the starter, Alex Crop. So Quillen is a sophomore. He's primarily played JV. He's making his first varsity appearance, and he comes in with his team down 6-1 and runners on the corners and nobody out against a really good baseball team. So, welcome to varsity baseball, but again, this is a good opportunity for these guys, and that's really what these midweek games are for, is to give your players an opportunity to get extra at-bats, extra innings against good teams. And New Palestine plays a very tough schedule, and therefore does that. And here's a big spot for Reese Quillen to show what he can do in varsity action against good teams.
Well, you're exactly right. This is just an excellent learning opportunity for a young man. Are you throwing him into the fire here a little bit? Certainly. But, you know, there's a couple different ways you can approach it. You know, if you're Coach Lyons, you can tell him, hey, listen, you know what? Forget those two guys out there. I want to see how you pitch from this point forward. Or, you know, you could, again, make him aware of it. Hey, dude, you got second and third here. Let's get us out of this thing. Let's make good pitches. Let's hit our spots. Let's stay ahead and get ahead of the hitters quickly and stay on top of people. So, just like you said, just an excellent learning opportunity. You always want to win every game, no matter what you're doing at whatever level you want. But there's certainly growth opportunities and learning opportunities all season long that kids can get better from.
Dylan Steele to step in. 2 in scoring position, a run in, nobody out in the fourth. Bloomington North leading at 6-1. Steele doubled off the center field fence his first time up. That drove in the first run of the game. And he's 1 for 2 today. And the first pitch from Quillen's a curveball that misses low, 1-0.
Just missed. So now, again, if you're Reese, you just want to make a slight adjustment, either release point or where you're landing your foot. Make a slight adjustment and figure it out.
Steele hitting .354 on the year, reaches for this one and pops it foul over the first base dugout. More activity in the Bloomington North bullpen. Tyler Gary has been throwing, and looks like they've got another pitcher up. It appears to be senior Ian Wilson. So here's the 1-1 from Quillen. It bounces, but right back to Quillen as Zayden Stiller blocks the pitch well. And so everybody holds. Pretty good job there by Stiller to keep the ball in front of him.
No doubt about it. And then again, he actually lost sight of it for a second, but very quickly kind of looked at his pitcher, and his pitcher pointed to it, and everyone knew where it was. No harm, no foul.
Here's the 2-1. Taking low for a ball, 3-1.
Looks like NewPal. He's got someone up in the bullpen as well. Looks like they're done. It was Jaron Meredith. The junior was down there warming up. See when Coach Lyons decides or when and if to put him in.
3-1 the count on Steele. Here's the pitch. Taken outside for a ball. Steele is aboard with the first walk of the game issued by Dragon Pitching. And the Cougars have the bases loaded and nobody out. And an opportunity here to really break this one open, already leading 6-1. And the meat of the order up. Aaron Steinfeld, the number 3 hitter. He singled and scored in the third inning.
If your coach Hurt for Bloomington North, it couldn't be better. And if your coach Lyons for the Dragons, it couldn't be worse.
Steinfeld hitting .389 coming into the game. And here with the bases full of Cougars and ahead in the count 1-0, nobody out in the top of the fourth.
Corner's in, so they're going to come home. Anything hit hard to them, they're going to come home with it and get the out at the plate. We're going to turn 2 in the middle. If it's hit, middle guy's obviously a double play depth.
Here's the 1-0. It hit him, and that'll bring home another run. So Steinfeld with the RBI. 2 runs in the inning. For Steinfeld, that's RBI number 17. The bases remain loaded. Pitch had just got away from Quillen, and Steinfeld will take that painful RBI.
Well, that might be the best thing that could happen for the Dragons because that kid looked like he's one of their better hitters and batting almost 400. So, you know, he's getting him to first base might be the best thing to happen.
Colton Becks to bat for the first time. He is 0 for 6 on the season. He replaced Sam Klein on the mound last inning and remains in the game. It's a hit. And the first pitch he sees is sky to right. Long run. It's going to fall for a base hit as Rush couldn't quite catch up to it. The throw into the infield prevents any more damage, but Colton Becks with a base hit, an RBI single, and That adds another run. It is now 8-1.
Well, and again, and second guess in hindsight 2020, but Trevor Rush I thought was playing just a little deep for, again, an opposite field hitter here. Right-handed hitter, the right fielders. Now he's playing probably about where he should have been the previous pitch. He just had no chance on that little flare by Bex.
Ted Toohill again, the courtesy runner for Bloomington North, as Jack Shepard takes the strike. He's 0 for 2, reached on an error and flied out to center in his 2 plate appearances. Sitting 412 on the year. Swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. Good block by Zayden Stiller. And the count now 0-2 on Shepard.
This will be a good spot to get a punch out here.
8-1 Bloomington North. 3 runs in the inning. The bases remain loaded with nobody out here in the 4th. Here's the pitch from Quillen. Bounces in there. Stiller with a good block. Count 1-2 now on Shepard, the number 5 hitter in the Cougars lineup.
That was a good pitch, good selection. Just off speed, tried to get him out in front of something. He's probably just, he's up there grinding his teeth, wanting to swing the bat. So changeup was a good call.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch, strike 3. The strikeout for Reese Quillen, the first of his varsity career. And there's 1 away for Riley Gallagher.
Well, talk about getting better and learning a tough situation. I don't know that it gets any tougher than that. And really nice pitch by Quillen.
Gallagher's a shortstop. He's driven in 3 of Bloomington North's 8 runs. He's 1 for 2. Hit a 2-out, 2-run double in the 3rd. Also an RBI ground out in the 1st. He's ahead in the count 1-0. Cameron Gray due up next. 1 out, bases loaded, 3 runs in the 4th. This pitch taken for a strike. 1-1 now the count.
Gallagher batting about 282 here coming into the ball game here, so probably a good idea just to go after him.
Curveball misses high. 2-1 now the count. 8 runs on 8 hits for Bloomington North. New Palestine with 1 run on 1 hit.
I'm not saying he's not dangerous. I'm sure he is, but at the same time, you got to go after people.
This pitch taken low for a ball, 3-1. Gallagher got one up in the air, got up in that jet stream to left field in the gap last time up. He is a senior, one of several seniors on this Bloomington North team. His ball laced into left field. That's a base hit. 1 run is in. Steinfeld will be held at 3rd, so the bases remain loaded with 1 out. Gallagher with his 4th RBI of the day.
Well, pitch it just probably got a little too much of the plate. And again, I said I knew he was a dangerous hitter, but you can't afford to be too fine. I mean, Coach Lyons is going to come out and talk to Reese. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he stays with him or if he goes with the it looks like he is going to make a change here.
So Reese Quillen's day will be done. Jaron Meredith will check in to replace him. Meredith, a junior. And so he'll come in with his team down 9-1, 4 runs in the inning. Quillen gets a hand from the New Palestine fans. Meredith, like Quillen, has spent much of his year pitching with the Dragon Junior varsity team. He has pitched 1 2/3 innings and
now pitching for your Dragons,
allowed 6 runs.
15, Jaron Meredith.
So Meredith will be the 3rd Dragon pitcher of the day. For Quillen, he goes a 1/3 of an inning and allows 2 hits, walked 1, and hit 1.
Well, not the worst outing in the history of the world. I mean, obviously, if you're Reese, you wanted it to go a little bit better than that. But came in and got some pitches that he wanted in spots where he wanted them, and just came in a tough situation. Runners on 2nd and 3rd, and I believe nobody out if I'm correct.
Yes.
So it is what it is. You learn from it.
The book is closed on Crop. He allows 7 hits, 8 runs, 6 of them earned, struck out 1, hit 1. Quillen, in a 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and he hit 1 batter as well, and he is responsible for all 3 on base. 4 runs in the inning. Bloomington North with 3 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, and in that scoreless second inning. Kropp retired the Cougars in order. So Jaron Meredith to pitch. Bloomington North with an 8-run lead, number 5 in the state in the Prep Baseball Report rankings, receiving votes in the IHSBCA Class 4A poll, 15-2, and Cougars looking like they're well on the way to victory number 16.
Well, if you remember legendary Cubs broadcaster Harry Carey, this is where he would say, "Oh, for a double play ball." And that's what you got. You got your middle infielders right there. It'd be nice to build a little one hopper to one of them and flip it and turn it.
Gray is 0 for 2. He popped out to the second baseman in short right field his first time up and grounded out to the pitcher last inning on a hot smash that Alex Kropp fielded. It knocked his glove off, but then he stayed with the ball and threw Gray out at first. And those were the third outs of both innings. He's the ninth man to bat here in the fourth.
Yeah, again, I don't know if cameras can get a shot of it, but just obviously the middle infielders are just in perfect double play depth. If we could get a one hopper to either the shortstop or the second baseman, you get turn 2 and get out of here.
Gray 4 for 10 on the season. Chops 1-2 short. Hickman over to second. Green for 1. The throw to first, dug out by Noah Mack for the double play. 6-4-3 on the double play to retire the side. The Cougars do get 4 as we see really good execution by the Dragons, turning a tailor-made 6-4-3 double play.
Well, and again, that ball wasn't even hit that hard. I mean, that's more hats off, and a great job of Mack over at first base, keeping his foot on the bag and scooping it out of the dirt. I was hoping for more of the hard hit ball where all you got to do is flip it, throw the guy out by 30 feet. But congratulations to the Dragon defense. That was a tough way to turn it.
For the Cougars in the inning, 4 runs, 4 hits. They leave a pair. There was an error. And so they lead at 9-1. The book on Quillen now. He allows 1 run in a third of an inning in his first varsity appearance. We take a look at the New Palestine dugout. And again, the East Central sectional, the Bloomington North will play. They'll drive all the way over to East Central and St. Leon,
yeah.
Indiana, near Cincinnati, and they'll face their crosstown rival Bloomington South in the first game. Shelbyville out of the HHC and Columbus East, then Columbus North and East Central. Columbus North has handed Bloomington North one of its 2 losses on the year. That was their last loss back on April 17th.
Yeah, I'm not terribly familiar with all those baseball schools. I know there's some fantastic athletic programs there. So you're just going to assume that, like all schools that have strong athletic traditions in multiple sports, that should be a fun and exciting sectional as well.
Bloomington North with 17 sectional titles in its history, but Cougars looking for their first since 2013. New Palestine and Bloomington North were both at the same regional down in Evansville's Bossy Field back in 2012. They did not play each other that day. New Palestine ended up winning that regional title, beating Jeffersonville on a dramatic walk-off homer by Jacob Barnes. And here, Zach Neely laces a single into left. He has both of the Dragons' hits in this game as he leads off the fourth.
Well, Zach's been one of those kind of bonuses for Coach Lyons and his staff. Didn't play baseball the last couple years, but decided to come back and do it. And obviously not missing much there. You see a really nice swing on a hard hit ball to left field. No shot for the third baseman.
Luke Green, who turned to double play to end the last inning, now steps in. He worked a beautiful 10-pitch walk his last time up. He's got Neely at first. Neely, a 2-year starter at quarterback for the Dragon football team, and we mentioned did not play baseball the last couple of years to concentrate on football. And now back, and he very quickly became a Friday night starter for this Dragon baseball team. This ball popped foul out of play.
Well, certainly you don't have to argue very hard to say that concentration paid off
Yeah.
for Alex and the football program.
Zach and his brother Alex, both state championship quarterbacks for this New Palestine football team. This pitch taken outside, 2-1. And Zach hitting behind the, got caught leaning the wrong way, but didn't quite have a big lead, so he dives back in. The guy he's hitting behind today, Eric Raudebusch, was his backup in football last season.
Yeah, I think I just did it. I think I called Zach Alex and probably called Alex Zach once or twice. And
those are things that we have all done more than once. Here's the 3-1. High and tight. Luke Green walks for the second time, and for the second time in this game, actually the third consecutive inning now, the Dragons have 2 on and nobody out. And we see Richard Hurt making the walk to the mound, and it looks like he may make a pitching change.
Yeah, he probably saw enough of what he wanted to see out of Colton Bex here. And, again, non-conference game, middle of the week. Obviously a 9-1 lead, so let's see if somebody else can throw strikes and get out of jams.
And so Bex is finished. He allowed 1 hit and a walk. And new pitcher is Tyler Gary. He is a junior. This is his 3rd appearance.
Now pitching for the Cougars, number 2, Tyler Gary.
He has struck out 6 in 4 2/3 innings and has a 1.50 earned run average. You see Gary making his warm-up tosses. Bloomington North has also made a defensive change. Ian Wilson is now in at first base, replacing Aaron Steinfeld. That change happened at the top of the inning. As his team with a 9-1 lead, Coach Richard Hurt getting some at-bats and some innings for some different players. Wilson making an appearance in his 10th game at first base, and Tyler Gary, his 3rd appearance on the mound. And we see it looks like a hard thrower, throws almost from a 3/4 angle. So we take a look here. This is Sectional 9. This also involves several Hoosier Heritage Conference teams. Pendleton Heights with the bye will face either Richmond or Muncie Central. Connorsville and Anderson, Mount Vernon, Greenfield Central. Some really good baseball teams and programs in that sectional. Pendleton Heights has long had a strong tradition. Greenfield Central, a really good number 1 in Adam Hutchison. Mount Vernon's been dangerous this year.
That's just a couple weeks away, right?
That is. Sectional championship game slated for Memorial Day weekend. All the sectionals around the state slated to begin on the 22nd. Trevor Rush hits the first pitch he sees into center. Catch is made by Friel, tagging and heading to third. There will be a play, but Neely beats the throw. Good base running job by Zach Neely. The Dragons have him on the corners with 1 out.
Well, it's a good thing the ball didn't get away from the third baseman because there was no umpire at home plate to make any kind of call if it would have been close. But a good job by the center fielder there. Friel stays behind the ball, catches it coming forward, makes a nice throw. Relay just underneath it here. You can see the home plate umpire out at third to make the call, but nobody was at home.
Zayden Stiller to step in. Dragon freshman catcher. He struck out his first time up. First pitch he sees is taken over the outside corner for a strike. Oh, 0-1 the count on Stiller, the number 8 hitter for the Dragons today. And he laces this one into left. That will fall for a hit. Neely scores. And Green stops at second. And so Zayden Stiller with the RBI, his first. Saw a pitch he liked and just drilled it into left field.
Yeah, Neely had to kind of just hesitate for just a second to make sure that the left fielder, Trueblood, was not going to make a play on it. But it was pretty obvious pretty early on that he was not. So Alex was able to score.
Henry Giesler will courtesy run for Stiller, the catcher. Giesler's got good wheels at first base. He's stolen 3 bases this season. Dragons have 2 on, 1 in, and 1 out for Grant Hickman. Hickman, junior shortstop, was hit by a pitch earlier, and that pitch right over his head, and he ducked out of the way of it. I want to know the count on him.
Oh, what a tough guy, man. He just stood right there and just watched that thing go over. You'll see some kids will flail out of there, helmet off, bat on the ground.
Here's the 1-0. Grounded to third. Fielded by Steele. He'll step on the bag for one. Throw across the diamond. Double play. 5-3 on the double play. Nicely played by Dylan Steele. And that will retire the side. The Dragons get a run on a pair of hits, and they leave one. So we've played 4 at New Palestine. Bloomington North 9, New Palestine 2. You're watching high school baseball on 9 Star Channel 9. And we welcome you back to New Palestine High School. The New Palestine Dragons trail the Bloomington North Cougars 9-2. Jaron Meredith on the hill for the Dragons. This is his first full inning of work. So we see the double play turned by Bloomington North's Dylan Steele to end the 4th inning. A solid play by a Division I baseball player.
Yeah, just like you coach it. You know, you tell kids all the time, you know, basically wherever the ball takes you. And that ball was hit right at the third baseman, Steele, who was able to kind of go to his right one step and throw across. Good, strong arm, typical third baseman arm. Plenty of time for the double play.
Jack Gallagher leading things off for Bloomington North, and he laces this one into left field for a base hit. Colby Jenkins dove for it, but got a glove on it to slow it down, but wasn't able to corral it. So Gallagher is aboard with a base hit on a really hard hit smash down the third base line.
Yeah, the only shot that Colby would have had literally would have been going full-blown Brooks Robinson, and I know I'm dating myself, but totally leave your feet and then hop up and try to make a great throw.
Bloomington North has the leadoff man aboard for the 3rd time in this game. Xavier Trueblood is 0 for 1. He struck out. And also, he's actually 0 for 0 as he was pinch hit for last inning. And here's a pickoff play at first. And Gallagher is gunned down by Jaron Meredith. 1-3 on the pickoff. And Gallagher is erased from the base paths.
Well, it goes obviously as a caught stealing, technically, even though he wasn't really stealing. Anytime you lead off like that, it's considered nice pick-off play, and nice tag by Noah Mack down at first base.
So now Trueblood batting with nobody on and 1 out. Takes the pitch high for a ball. He's 0 for 1. He struck out, and then Ben Hobson pinch hit for him and bunted. And then after Hobson reached on a fielder's choice on the sacrifice, Trueblood came in and scored. He skies this one to right. Trevor Rush makes the play, 2 away. So Bloomington North had a man on, and then quickly 2 pitches later, there's 2 out and the bases are erased after the pickoff, and then the fly ball to right. So flip the lineup over, and Harry Delianis will step in for the 4th time this game.
Well, good start to the inning by Jaron Meredith, the junior, coming in, like you said, for some of his rare varsity outing here.
First pitch high and away to Delianis. He is 1 for 2. He's singled, been hit by a pitch, popped out, driven in a run, and he scored twice. 18 runs on the season now for Delianis in 17 games. This pitch taken low for a ball, 2-0.
Well, certainly doing more of what the traditional leadoff hitter is expected to do. Get on base, set the table, and come around when the big guys move the bats a little bit.
Here's the 2-0. Chopped to the right side, and it will get through. A base hit for Delianis, the 11th hit of the game for Bloomington North, his 2nd. He's aboard for the 3rd time in this game, and they are not hit hard, but hit in the perfect spot.
Yeah, that's the old seeing eye single that they used to call that, and the old 12 hopper. Just because of the alignment of the defense, and not that the second baseman wasn't in the right spot, Luke Green, he just wasn't in the right spot when it was hit, and there was nothing he could do about it.
Dylan Steele to step in. He's 1 for 2, doubled, driven in a run, and he scored twice. He's also drawn a walk. Throw over is going to chase Delianis back. Delianis has some good wheels on the base paths. And here's the pitch. Low and in. 1-0 the count on Dylan Steele.
Yeah, I'd be a little surprised to see Coach Hurt sending Delianis here. But, I mean, at the same time, you could argue that you're trying to get to that 10-run rule mark. Normally you don't steal when you're up, 9-2, 9-1, that kind of stuff.
Here's the pitch, high and tight. Chases Steele back away from the plate. And 2-0 now the count on Dylan Steele. The third baseman, he turned the double play that ended the last inning. Second double play turned by Bloomington North, and he has initiated both of them. Here's a throw over to first, chasing Delianis back.
Yeah, Jaron Meredith there thinking, I don't have a ton of experience at this level, but I know I got an out there the last time. I'm going to throw it back over.
Top two hitters in each team's lineup, seniors who are going to play baseball next year. Here's the 2-0. Steele hits this one in the air, in the gap toward left center, but it will hang up long enough for Neely to squeeze it and retire the side. Cougars get a pair of hits. They leave one. We head to the bottom of the fifth. Bloomington North 9, New Palestine 2.
No runs, 2 hits, 1 left on.
As that ball just hung up there, and Neely was able to race over into the gap to squeeze that one. And so Steele is retired, and that retires the inning, or retires the Cougars in the inning. So we head to the bottom of the fifth. That is the second scoreless inning of the game for Bloomington North. And New Palestine will send the top of the order. Colby Jenkins, Jack Walker, and Noah Mack to bat against Tyler Gary.
Yeah, you don't have to be a great baseball mind to know that this is, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right here. You got the top of the order up and some pretty good hitters, and if you're going to claw back into this thing, even to make it competitive, a 9-5, 9-6 ball game, it's probably going to happen here or it's not going to happen.
And we mentioned the top two players in each team's order are going to play college baseball next year. Delianis to Pomona, Pitzer, and Steele to Indiana. Colby Jenkins to step in, playing third base today for the Dragons. Normally they're starting catcher. We'll head to Indiana Wesleyan next year, and Jack Walker to IU, where he and Steele will be teammates.
Well, that Indiana Wesleyan athletic program just kind of almost appeared out of nowhere, as Jenkins has a big swing and a miss there.
Won a national championship in men's basketball not long ago, as well as women's basketball. Jenkins quickly in the hole 0-2.
And started the football program, I believe, either last year or the year before, and they were just mauling people.
Yeah.
For a first-year program, very impressive.
Put a lot of resources into that program, and if you're going to build a program, do it the right way.
I guess so. And
they have done so. Marion very much did the same thing, building their program very quickly into a national championship level program, the NAIA level. And IWU looking to do the same, and Jenkins will be a part of the baseball program up there. 2-2 the count on him. Open stance, he skies this one foul.
That was actually the first pitch that Tyler Gary has kind of left out over the plate, giving Jenkins any semblance of getting good contact on it. I always want to say good wood, and I know they haven't swung wood since like 81.
This pitch misses just high. 3-2. That's a tough pitch to lay off of. Good patience by Colby Jenkins.
Yeah, I agree with you. If it missed up.
Fouls this payoff pitch back well over the backstop. So we'll do it all over again. 3 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff man, Colby Jenkins. He's 0 for 1. Walked and scored in the third, grounded out to short in the first. And he has walked again as he takes the payoff pitch high.
Nice at bat there as Colby kind of does his Luke Green impression there of just fouling off things and just hanging around long enough to wait on the pitcher to make a mistake, and he did, and gets a free pass out of the deal.
Green walked on a 10-pitch at-bat earlier. That was a 7-pitch at-bat to Jenkins. Jack Walker to step in, and the first pitch he sees misses high. Walker playing the DH spot today for New Palestine, often plays first base when he's not pitching as well. He and Noah Mack kind of rotate between first base and DH if Walker is not on the mound, which he will be Friday when the Dragons take on Pendleton Heights. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. He's 0 for 2. He's struck out and reached on an error. This pitch high and outside, 3-0.
Well, down 7 runs, I'd be surprised if Coach Lyons turns him loose here, but I've seen goofier things. I mean, you might take this big kid, let him swing it.
This pitch taken for a strike. Looked like he was taking all the way.
Yeah, I mean, common baseball knowledge, you're going to take that all the way. But, again, you know, what the heck? Big, strong kid like Jack Walker, maybe he can hit it hard.
And he will instead make the 90-foot jog down to first base. Dragons again with 2 on and nobody out for the 3rd consecutive inning. And Noah Mack to step in.
And nobody up in the Cougar bullpen, so Coach Hurt for Bloomington North is just going to try to let Tyler Gary battle his way out of this. And again, we've said it now probably 5 or 6 times, but that's a great opportunity for Tyler Gary to be in a tough spot. Hasn't pitched a lot this year, so we'll see if he can work himself out of it.
He has 2 on, nobody out. And the first pitch to Mack misses high. He drops down 3/4, almost sidearm, and looks like he's getting under his pitches and leaving them up.
Yeah, he's leaving them up, and I think a lot to just stride a little bit more.
Mack swings right through that one.
You know, when you coach pitchers, you got to let them know that at some point they have to kind of coach themselves. If everything's up, then stride a little bit more, reach out a little bit more.
This one skied foul, and Gary now ahead in the count, 1-2 on Noah Mack. He struck out and grounded into a double play.
If everything's down in the dirt, then, you know, the converse, either release it just a smidge sooner, or don't stride so far.
This pitch misses outside, 2-2.
And if pitches are missing in and out, then make an adjustment on the rubber. I mean, you don't have to, you know, put your foot in the same spot the whole time. Move back one way or the other.
Gary misses high and wide with this one, 3-2. Looks like he's missing a lot with his curveball as well.
And just missing up, and I can't believe that Coach Hurt is not going to watch too much more of this. His replacement, though, may be already on the field, and that's why there's nobody in the bullpen.
And this one over Mack's head. The bases are loaded with nobody out for New Palestine. 3 consecutive walks, and here comes Coach Hurt to have a chat with his pitcher, Tyler Gary, and he's going to make a change.
Yeah, just as I suspected here, it looks like, is this number 5 here that's coming in?
Matt Friel.
So Friel was the center fielder. That's why he wasn't warming up. He was already loose. He was on the bench ready to come in if need be.
So Matt Friel to pitch. He's a junior making his 6th appearance, 1-0 with a 1.05 earned run average. In 6 2/3 innings, he struck out 9. And he will be the 4th Bloomington North pitcher on the day. It looked like it was kind of a scheduled bullpen day for both teams.
Yeah, and I misspoke. I apologize. Ben Friel has been the center fielder, not Matt.
Ben is a senior. Matt's a junior. Couple of Friels, couple of Gallaghers on this Bloomington North squad. And Matt's a junior, as we mentioned, and looks like he's a hard thrower, especially out of the stretch. He's going to come in here, a tough spot. His team's up 7, but the bases are loaded with nobody out. New Palestine had the same situation in the 3rd, and a double play erased a base runner and put 2 outs on the board, but a wild pitch did bring New Palestine's first run home.
Now, did they use the pitcher Matt Friel? Was he used as a courtesy runner earlier or something? Because he is absolutely covered in dirt. So if he didn't come in as a pinch runner, then he's literally been playing in the dirt over there behind the dugout.
First pitch to Eric Raudebush taken for a ball. So runners lead from all 3 bases. Here's the pitch to Raudebush, taken inside for a ball. 3 consecutive walks to open the inning for Gary, who pitches 1+, allows a hit, and walks 3. He's responsible for everybody on the base paths, and Raudebush ahead in the count now, 3-0. It's Friel having some difficulty finding the strike zone to his first hitter. And here's the pitch outside. And that's ball 4. So Raudebush with an RBI. The Dragons bring home another run. 4 consecutive walks in the inning for Raudebush. That's RBI number 9, and this will bring Zach Neely to the plate.
Zach taking a really, really long look at Sean Lyons, and Coach Lyons is like, what do you want me to do, give you the double sign? I mean, I just put the ball in play, put it in play somewhere hard.
9-3 now the score. Neely takes a pitch outside for a ball. Neely's 2 for 2 today. He has 2 of the Dragons' 3 hits. He scored a run. Dragons with a golden opportunity to get right back in this game. Neely takes this one low.
Well, normally 2-0 is a great pitch to hit, but I think you got to be taken here. This young man hadn't thrown a strike since he's been in the ball game. So
bullpen is quiet for Bloomington North. And here's the 2-0. Foul back to the screen, 2-1. We did see Ian Wilson throwing earlier. He's playing first base now. Friel, the 4th pitcher to work for the Cougars. 2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Neely skies this one to right. This should be deep enough to get the run home. Charging and making the catch is Shepard, and Walker tags as Shepard fires that one back in. So 1 away in the inning as Neely's retired on the fly ball to right.
Well, it might have been close. Shepard does, like you said, does a really good job of staying behind the baseball, battling that right field sun like it is at most fields. Right field's a tough place to play at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and would have been close.
When it looked off the bat like it would be deep enough, but the wind kind of knocked that down. The wind blowing pretty hard from the right field foul pole to the left field foul pole across the outfield. So the bases remain loaded. A run in, 1 out. Luke Green down to the count 0-1. He has walked twice. Hits this one in the air, pops it up on the infield. Second baseman Delianis squeezes it for the 2nd out. So very quickly, after the Dragons had the bases loaded, nobody out, now 2 outs, and it's up to Trevor Rush.
Yeah, technically infield fly. You saw the base umpire signal it almost immediately.
Number 43,
So the batter would have been out regardless whether he dropped it or not, and if he drops it, the base runners could advance at their own peril, as the rule says.
Rush is 0 for 1. Sacrificed and flew out to center. Good block by the catcher Gallagher on that pitch in the dirt. 1-0 the count. So 4 consecutive walks to open the inning, and a fly ball to right. And we've got a bullpen ball that got loose. Might have been a foul ball from the JV game taking place over on the other diamond. That's exactly the case.
Yeah,
It was in center field.
Yeah, if that's a bullpen ball, somebody really let one loose.
The Dragon and Cougar JVs playing in the diamond adjacent to ours. The pitch to Rush, misses outside. 2-0 the count on the junior right fielder for the Dragons.
Well, it'd be nice to put a charge into one right here with 2 outs, 2-0. You're looking for your favorite pitch, and you just want to turn on it. And
it's grounded to second. Delianis is up with it. Throws over to first to retire the side. The Dragons get a run on 4 consecutive walks, but good job of pitching by Friel limits the damage. And we head to the 6th. Bloomington North 9, New Palestine 3. You're watching high school baseball on 9 Star Channel 9.
A neighborhood drive-up builds their menu around locally sourced foods. A community-owned telecom delivers fiber optic bandwidth that helps them leverage high-performing technology with lower startup costs. Turns out, going local doesn't just mean fresh, it means better. 9 Star Connect. Community-owned, community-strong.
We return to New Palestine High School. To the 6th inning we go. Bloomington North leading New Palestine 9-3. Jaron Meredith on for his 2nd full inning of work for the Dragons. And he will face Ian Wilson, who checked into the game earlier to play first base, Colton Bex, and Jack Shepard. Actually, Bex probably will not bat as Matt Friel replaced him on the mound. So Meredith got a double play to get out of a jam in the fourth, and then pitched around a pair of singles in the fifth, and he will face Ian Wilson to open up the sixth for Bloomington North. So Wilson, 1 for 21 on the season. He's playing in his 10th game. An opportunity to get him some at-bats. This pitch taken high and tight for a ball. So Matt Friel in the on-deck circle. He is the pitcher. This pitch again high and tight. Wilson replaces Aaron Steinfeld in the lineup, and Steinfeld was 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run. Wilson, a senior. One of 8 seniors on this Bloomington North roster. He's ahead in the count, 3-0.
Well, as much as he'd like to get on base, I'm sure he's still saying, come on, man, give me something to hit here. He doesn't get to play a lot. Here's an opportunity to maybe show Coach Hurt what he can do with a baseball bat.
He will instead make the jog down to first base on a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, and you could almost see the frustration there as the pitch was just up, and he kind of dropped the bat and dropped his head like, man, I would have loved to have swung the bat here.
That is just the second walk of the game issued by Dragon pitching. Matt Friel to bat. This is just his third at-bat of the season. He's 1 for 2. And he checks a swing here and is able to hold up on a pitch that's just inside. 1-0 the count to him.
It looked to me like he probably did go around. Unfortunately, the base umpire at high school baseball with 2 umpires is not down the first base line like you see on a major league game. So really, it's really an impossible call for him to say whether or not he went. He wasn't asked anyway.
Throw over to first. Scampering back in is Wilson. Jared Meredith has a really nice pickoff move. He was able to nab Gallagher last inning and nearly got Delianis as well. And there he had a close play on Wilson. He's now got to do a little bit of laundry tonight with the dirt on his jersey. This pitch is outside. 2-0 the count to Friel. So Meredith trying to find his command here in the 6th. His team trailing 9-3. Bloomington North with 3 in the first, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth. Here's the 2-0. Tailing pitch misses inside. 3-0 on Friel. New Palestine with single runs in each of the last 3 innings. 9 runs, 11 hits, no errors for Bloomington North. New Pals 1, 3, and 3. This pitch right down the pipe for a strike.
Well, unlike Bloomington North, no action in the Dragon bullpen, so you got to assume that if Coach Lyons does make a pitching change, then that particular young man is already on the field in some capacity.
Here's the 3-1. Now to Friel instead. He'll throw over to first and chase Wilson back. A little bit of action a moment ago in the Bloomington North bullpen. Harry Delianis is finished. This pitch hits Friel. It would have been ball 4 anyway. And so the Cougars with 2 on and nobody out in the 6th. This will bring Jack Shepard to the plate. He's 0 for 3. He's reached on an error, struck out, and flied out to center. And here comes Sean Lyons making the walk to the mound to chat with his pitcher, Jaron Meredith. And all of the Cougars will head over to talk with Coach Richard Hurt. 2 outstanding baseball coaches. Richard Hurt has been at Bloomington North a long time. More than 400 wins. Sean Lyons in his 8th season at New Palestine, 156 and 73 with 3 sectional and 3 conference titles. Comes out, gives a pep talk to his pitcher, Jaron Meredith, and he now heads back to the rubber. Jack Shepard to step into the batter's box. These two teams will play again Tuesday in Bloomington. Both teams had a couple of openings on their schedules, and especially Bloomington North. There's not a lot of big schools in South Central Indiana, so it's tough to find good competition at times, and so worked out that these two teams could play 2 games against each other in back-to-back weeks. This pitch hit him, so the bases are loaded.
Yeah, and I was talking to Coach Lyons before the ball game, and he did say that Coach Hurt was the one that kind of made the first phone call, and there's no doubt in my mind, because I spoke with Coach Hurt before the game as well, and he said that this was a team that he's kind of been waiting for the last 3 or 4 years. He wanted to challenge his kids, and what better way to do it than against a great team like the Dragons. So that's exactly what it's all about. He couldn't find competition in that part of the state, so get in the bus and come up here and see what you can do.
A lot of smaller schools in their part of the state. And you can kind of see that. Just look at their sectional as Gallagher steps in. He's got 4 RBI on the day. He's ahead in the count here, 1-0. He's 2 for 3. As you're driving all the way to East Central to play sectional games, 2 Bloomington schools, 2 Columbus schools, East Central. And Shelbyville, here's a pitch taken for a strike by Riley Gallagher. And their conference includes schools as well from Terre Haute and the south side of Indianapolis.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The same thing is true in really all the sports, football, baseball, basketball. There just aren't a lot of schools in that part of the state that aren't smaller than the Bloomington schools.
This pitch taken low for a ball, 2-1 now, the count on Riley Gallagher. He has, as we mentioned earlier, 4 RBI, and he's got the bases loaded here with nobody out. Having a huge day. Gallagher had 7 coming in, and now he's got 8. So he gets hit by a pitch. That's the 3rd consecutive hit batter. And so now Gallagher with a 5 RBI day now as he gets a painful one. That is the 2nd consecutive inning for these two teams that the teams have scored a run without putting a ball in play. A walk and 3 straight hit batters from Meredith. And in the previous inning, Bloomington North pitching walked 4 straight to force in a run. So it's now 10-3. We're going to have a pitching change as Henry Giesler comes in to play center field. And Eric Raudebush is going to come on to pitch, yeah. So Raudebush will be the 4th Dragon pitcher, and he has not pitched in a varsity game this season. So it's really been a bullpen day for New Palestine, and that continues that trend.
Yeah, I mean, you said that earlier, and you're exactly right. I mean, both coaches, I think, came into this knowing that they're going to go with people that haven't had a lot of experience, and we're going to go with them as long as they'll take us. If you can get 4 innings out of your starter, great. If you can get 5, that's even better. And then we're going to bring a guy in. And I was telling Coach Lyons before the game years ago when I was at Chittard and we were playing Roncalli and their legendary Hall of Fame baseball coach, John Wirtz, in the city tournament. And honestly, we were probably better than Roncalli, and he knew that we had some big sticks in the lineup. And Coach Wirtz went total bullpen day on us. I mean, he let his pitchers throw to 9 hitters exactly. Every single one of them pitched to 9 hitters. Didn't matter the situation, didn't matter the outs, how many guys were on base. After you faced your 9th guy, you were gone. And he brought in and he changed up. You know, he started out with a guy who didn't throw hard enough to break glass, and then he brought in a fireballer, and then he brought in another slow guy. So kept us all balanced quite well, and that's all you can really hope to do in these ball games.
So Eric Raudebush making his first appearance, but the one thing to note is that while he's making his first appearance, as we take a look at the scoreboard, slightly off. Bloomington North put up a 0 in the 5th and has scored its 10th run here in the 6th. 9-star. They'll pay for that scoreboard and put it up in the left field, not just here at New Palestine, but at some of the other diamonds in the county as well. But Raudebush is a competitor. Starter on the football team, all-conference punter for a team that almost never punts. And also a backup quarterback and starting wide receiver for the New Palestine football team. And has started at all three outfield positions for New Palestine, been a mainstay in Coach Lyons' lineup. And he's been called on to pitch here and kind of limit the damage with his team down 10-3 in the sixth.
Yeah, as a punter on the Dragon football team, he's like the Maytag repairman. He just kind of sits there and waits on the phone to ring, and it never rings.
Bases loaded, and the first pitch Raudebush throws is way outside for a ball to Cameron Gray. Gray is 0 for 3. He's popped out and grounded out twice. Comes up here with the bases loaded, a run in, nobody out. Here's the pitch. Take it for a strike.
Good spot, good pitch. Had a little zip on it. Looks like Coach Lyons does have somebody up down there, so this may be more of a stopgap situation for Raudebush.
1-1 the count. And this pitch is hit in the air to center. Henry Giesler, who just came into the game, is camped under it, drifts over, makes the catch. Runner tags and holds. Good throw by Giesler to keep Friel at third base.
Well, and that's a couple things. I mean, you see Giesler go back on it. He looks like he's battling either the sun or the wind or both here. Doesn't really catch it coming forward. He's actually kind of going backward a little bit. Coach Hurt, no need to tack on another run necessarily. You certainly don't want to take a chance getting anybody hurt on a close play at the plate either. So just step back and see if Gallagher can put the ball in play.
Jack Gallagher's 2 for 3. He scored a run. Swings and misses at this pitch. High fastball from Raudebush. 0-1 the count. Raudebush, the fourth Dragon pitcher. Friel down at third base, the fourth Bloomington North pitcher in this game. Here's the 0-1. Turns on an inside pitch and skies it foul and out of play. 0-2 now the count on Jack Gallagher.
I actually kind of like what I'm seeing out of Raudebush here. He'll get after you. He throws strikes, and he other than that first pitch, which I think was one of those oh my gosh moments. I'm in a varsity baseball game pitching. Everything else has been near the plate.
Here's the 0-2. Off speed pitch hit in the hole in the left side. That'll be a base hit. One run is in. Shepard coming around third. He will score. And Gallagher with a 2-run single, his third hit of the day. And Bloomington North has extended its lead to 12-3.
Well, like you said, a little curveball there, and Jack Gallagher just stays back on it. You see here he strides, but his hands stay back. And then in his weight, he's just able to slap it into left field. And shortstop, again, not playing out of position. He was playing double play depth, but could not get there in time to make the play.
9 RBI on the season now for Gallagher. Xavier Trueblood will step in. He's 0 for 2. 3 runs in the inning. 1 out, 2 on. The first pitch to Trueblood taken for a strike. The inning started with a walk and 3 consecutive hit batters, and that brought Raudebush in. He induced a fly ball and then a base hit. And this pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-1. Twelve runs, 12 hits for Bloomington North. New Palestine with 3 runs on 3 hits. And also 3 errors. So some symmetry on the scoreboard. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Trueblood.
Well, this is something that Raudebush so far at least has shown that Coach Lyons that he will throw strikes. We're not going to hit people. We're not going to walk people. We're going to throw strikes, make them earn it.
This pitch skied foul and out of play will stay, and a ball and 2 strikes.
And that's important to know that you got a guy that if you're ever in this situation again where you honestly just need some innings, you just need somebody to come in and chew up some innings, that you got a guy who'll do that, because there's no defense for a walk and there's certainly no defense for a hit batsman either. So
here's the 1-2. Trueblood reaches for that one and fouls it off. Good at bat for Trueblood. He's spoiling a lot of pitches and keeping himself alive.
When I coached, I used to in different level, JV freshman level, but I used to tell my kids, if you walk 2 guys in a row, you're done. I don't care if it's the first 2 hitters of the game. I'm not going to watch you walk people. Throw strikes.
Here's the 1-2. This is lined into left field. That'll be a base hit. It will skip past Neely and go all the way to the wall. 1 run will score. Another runner, Gallagher, coming around third. He will score. And Trueblood is in at second base with a double. 2 RBI double for Trueblood. 5 runs now in the inning. And Bloomington North leads at 14-3.
Well, Alex Neely in left field just takes kind of a difficult angle toward this ball. Maybe he didn't feel like it was hit as hard as it was. And then once he realized, uh-oh, I should have probably taken a little bit of a deeper angle. It's just too late. And then the relay throw comes in and it bounces and is hard to handle there. So good at bat for Trueblood.
So now Delianis to step in. Harry Delianis, 2 for 3 on the day, scored twice and driven in a run. 5th plate appearance in the 6th inning. 5 runs in the inning for Bloomington North. They lead at 14-3. This ball lined into the right center field gap. This is trouble. It will land and go all the way to the wall. Trueblood will score. Delianis with a big turn. He'll head to third base, and he'll hold there with a RBI triple. So Harry Delianis with his second RBI, his 3rd hit of the day, and Bloomington North now leads at 15-3 with a 6-run inning.
Well, the dam has officially broken, obviously, and like you said, it's kind of a deep power alley here at New Palestine High School, and that one practically one-hops the wall. And, again, that's what a Division I baseball player does to a fastball from a young man who's not necessarily used to throwing a lot of varsity innings.
Dylan Steele to step in. He is 1 for 3, scored twice and driven in a run. And he's also turned 2 double plays from the third base position. Takes a strike here from Raudebusch. 1 out, 6 runs in the inning. Bloomington North has scored in 4 of its 6 innings and has put up crooked numbers in each. 3 in the first, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 6 now in inning number 6. This pitch taken low for a ball.
Well, you like to see the freshman catcher still back there working, you know, I mean, regardless of what the score is. Ball's in the dirt and very fundamentally sound, drops to his knees, puts the glove in the hole and leans forward and keeps it in front of him.
Pitch to Steele, high and tight. Ducks out of the way of that one. 2-1 now the count on the senior third baseman. Steele is also their top pitcher. He's made 6 appearances and 5 starts. And he's hit with a pitch here. So it's the 4th hit batter of the inning. And now Ian Wilson to step in. He got this whole thing started with a walk.
Well, you know, you've heard it a million times at every level, whether you're going to a Major League Baseball game, a game out at Victory Field with the AAA Indians, or even at the high school level. Every now and then you see something you never saw before, and I don't know that I've ever seen 4 people hit by pitches in 1 inning.
By 2 different pitchers as well.
26, Ian Wilson.
So Wilson to step in. He walked and scored earlier this inning. He's playing first base. Did not start this game. He came in for Aaron Steinfeld and has played a significant amount of this game. First pitch to him, taken for a strike.
Yeah, I may have seen it before, but I certainly don't remember seeing it, and it's not common, let's just say that.
Bloomington North with 6 runs on 3 hits in this inning. Wilson, the 10th man to bat in the inning for Bloomington North. Still just 1 out. This pitch gets away from Stiller, and Delianis will come home with the 7th run of the inning for Bloomington North, and its 16th of the game.
Well, just nothing that Zayden could do with this thing. It's the old 56-foot curveball that bounces in front of the plate, and it's just nasty. And all you can do is all you can do, which is what he did, is throw your body in front of it and hope for the best, and unfortunately just bounded away from him.
And here's the pitch, high and tight. 2-1 now the count on Ian Wilson. 16-3 Bloomington North. It's a 7-run inning for the Cougars. This pitch misses wide, and it gets past Stiller. Steele will head down to third base. The game has just completely gotten away from New Palestine, and I have to dig back in the record book to see a time when they've given up 16 runs in a game. It does not happen often. This is a program with a great tradition, but sometimes you just have a night where just nothing goes right. And this has been that for New Palestine. This pitch taken for a strike.
Well, again, just a perfect storm of situation. The schedule being what it is, 2 days away from 2 huge conference games. If you win them both, you're in first place. You certainly aren't going to throw anybody tonight that would jeopardize that possibility.
Strike 3 called. Retires Wilson. That's the second out of the inning. Third strikeout by Dragon pitching. Raudebush is first, and this will bring Matt Friel to the plate.
And then you add to the fact that you're playing a pretty good baseball team. A team, like you said, is ranked high in the coaches poll. And, if you're playing, honestly, if you're playing a lesser ball club, you're playing a single-A team, maybe, not to pick on anybody, but a Morristown or an Eastern Hancock or somebody, they probably don't get 15 on you. Maybe It ends up being 8-1 or 8-3. But this Bloomington North team is just really, really good. And they're going to take advantage of good pitches that are fat pitches that are out over the plate, and they're going to put it in play, and they're going to hang 15 on you if you're not careful.
Grant Wiggin going to come in and pitch for New Palestine, it appears, and that is the case. He's also making his first appearance of the season on the mound. Was primarily played the shortstop or second base position for New Palestine. And so Eric Raudebush will walk off the field with his coach, Sean Lyons. And comes after a strikeout, so he's able to, I think, feel good about the way that finished. Raudebush allows 3 hits, hit a batter, did not walk anybody in 2/3 of an inning.
Well, and you mentioned too that Eric is a competitor, and he is, and I'm guarantee you he's not happy with it. But it really wasn't as bad maybe as it looked. He threw strikes. Yes, they got hits. But like I said earlier, there's no defense for a walk. There's, when somebody walks on 4 pitches, there's no great diving catch. There's no great throw that can get him at first by an eyelash. Same, obviously, with hitting a batter as well. If you're throwing strikes and they're hitting it, honestly, there's a chance they might hit it right at somebody. And if that's the case, then, that's why you got those 8 other guys back there, wearing gloves on their hands. So that's all you really want in that situation. I mean, again, probably not. I guarantee you he's a competitor, like you said. He's not happy about it, but from a coaching standpoint, that wasn't a bad outing. That was a nice job of going in a tough situation and eating some innings.
And the thing for New Palestine, we look at that 16 on the board for Bloomington North, and they've got a runner at third base that Wigan will inherit. But New Palestine's used 5 pitchers in this game, and only one of them had thrown an inning of varsity baseball this season prior to tonight. And it was literally an inning and 2/3. So, yeah. Needless to say, not a whole lot of varsity pitching experience, and guys getting thrown into the fire against a really good team. And a big part of that is the schedule because, as you mentioned, big conference games coming up Friday against Pendleton Heights. New Palestine 2 games back of Pendleton in the conference standings. And your top 2 relievers, the Jaquez brothers, Jaden and Josh, both pitched 3 innings last night, and because of the pitch count rules, you got to save them for Friday in case you need them in relief. This pitch skied over toward Noah Mack in foul territory at first base. He squeezes it to retire the side, so Wigan able to retire the first batter he faces, but Bloomington North does score 7. They do so on 3 hits as well as 4 hit batters and a walk. They leave 1. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th. Bloomington North leading New Palestine 16-3.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, too. The Dragons are going to lead off with the 8-hole, the freshman Zayden Stiller. And, we'll see maybe if Coach Lyons wants to give some other kids an at-bat here. I've always said, if you don't like where you're hitting in the lineup, get a couple hits, make me move you. It looks like Bloomington North has got a new pitcher.
Yep. Harry Delianis on the mound. He is kind of their relief ace. This is his 9th appearance, 3-1 with a 1.73 ERA. His 5th appearance in relief. He has 3 saves. And re-entering the game, Sam Klein, the starting pitcher, will now play second base for Bloomington North. So Delianis, the 5th pitcher used by the Cougars in this game.
Watching him warm up here, he's got a pretty lively fastball and a pretty nasty little cutter here. that he can throw there. And clearly, under no definition of the rule would this be a safe situation. And for a blown safe situation, it would take a comeback of biblical proportions. He's nasty. I mean, he's a nasty pitcher. You can tell just by the movement on his pitches. He's going to be a hard guy to get. What do you need here?
3 outs.
4 runs to keep it. Yeah, from being a complete game. So it's going to be hard to get 4 off this kid, I think.
So Delianis, the 5th pitcher used by Bloomington North, and Zayden Stiller steps in. He's 1 for 2. Dragons with just 3 hits in this game. They've scored 3 runs, and 2 of their 3 they scored without the benefit of a hit. As Bloomington North pitching has walked 6 and hit 1. 1-1 the count. 3-0-2, 4-0-7 for Bloomington North. 0-0-1, 1-1, and Dragons now batting in the 6th. So 1-2 the count on Zayden Stiller, the Dragon catcher.
Well, but I like what I see here out of the freshman kid. He's not intimidated at all. He's standing in there taking his cuts and just missing it. Just needs to pull the trigger a little bit sooner, put something in play here.
This is a nice pitch over the inside corner. Stiller knew it. Takes it for a called strike 3, 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th, and this will bring Grant Hickman to the plate. Really good pitch there by Delianis.
Yeah, just a nasty, nasty breaking ball there, and you see Stiller actually bend his knees. As a pitcher, when you got a guy when he almost bails out of the box at the curveball.
Delianis with the 5th strikeout for Bloomington North pitching in the game. The starter Klein had 4 in 2+ innings. Bex pitched an inning plus. Gary also an inning plus. Each allowed a run and a hit. Friel with an inning. Got out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation without any further damage. And now Delianis on to wrap it up. He's behind in the count here, 2-0 as Hickman ropes this one up the middle. It will get through for a base hit. Grant Hickman with the 4th hit of the day for the Dragons. And now Colby Jenkins will be due up, but he will not bat, as Josh Jaquez will bat for Jenkins. And it looks like Henry Giesler is in the on-deck circle.
Well, as I thought that Coach Lyons might get some kids in and give them an opportunity here. Really nice at bat, no quitting Grant Hickman. I mean, nice job of driving the ball through the middle.
Jaquez 1 for 3 on the season. Hickman at first base, 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Palestine trailing Bloomington North 16-3. This pitch taken over the outside corner for a strike. Henry Giesler is in the on-deck circle. He came in to play center field, so the Dragons will give up the DH as he will bat for the DH, Jack Walker. This pitch taken for a strike, 0-2 from Delianis to Josh Jaquez.
Again, just a really, really nasty curveball.
And this is a called strike 3, second strikeout of the game for Delianis, both of them called. And so Jaquez is retired. It's up to Henry Giesler for the Dragons.
And again, you can see just the hesitation there on Jaquez and just another knee buckler.
Giesler on the year, he is a sophomore. He's hitting .239 on the season. So Giesler entered the game as a center fielder. He's batting for Walker. And so runner at first is Grant Hickman. This is one of the 4 Dragon hits. He goes. Giesler lines this one into right, and it will be caught by Wilson to end the game. Great play by the first baseman, Ian Wilson, to retire the side and into the game and put the exclamation point on a 16-3 win for Bloomington North.
Yeah, you see a really good job here by Wilson. He just, again, battling that right field sun and helps that he's a tall kid, around 6'2" or so, and long arms, and does a really nice job. That ball might have been fair. It may have been a base hit had he not gotten there. But just a tough way to end a tough night for the Dragons.
Final totals in this one for Bloomington North, which is now 16-2, 16 runs, 14 hits, no errors, they left 6. New Palestine, 3 runs, 4 hits, 3 errors, they left 8. The Dragons now 11-10 on the season, and this is one of those games for Bloomington North. Obviously, they continue rolling. They look like a team that's going to be a contender in that Evansville regional as well as in their sectional. And for New Palestine, you faced some good pitching. Now you try to regroup and get ready for 2 big conference games against Pendleton Heights on Friday, and then you're going to see these guys again on Tuesday, likely with your maybe depth third and fourth pitchers pitching rather than a lot of guys making their first varsity appearances.
Yeah, and, again, it's really hard to tell just how good this Cougar baseball team is. I'll tell you, the 9-star audience, though, nice opportunity because really most of the time we focus on area teams. This is an opportunity to see a team that we don't get to see on a regular basis. We didn't see their best pitchers, and that would, of course, be the key factor to deciding just how good this team is and how far they can go in the tournament. But I'll tell you, if their starting pitching is anything like the rest of their baseball team, they're very good, and they should go a long way.
Yeah, they hit well. They are very patient, and you'd expect that from a program that's got a great tradition, looking to win its first sectional in 6 years. And Bloomington North is very good today, winning at 16-3 over New Palestine. Our next broadcast on 9-Star Channel 9 will be next week when Pendleton Heights faces Newcastle in softball. And I want to thank John Painter and Bill McKenna and all of our crew on 9-Star Channel 9. For Jim Leisure, I am Andrew Smith. Thanks for watching